Welcome to Heroes of the Dorm 2016. We are casting live from ESPN's Wide World of Sports at the beautiful Walt Disney World Resort. We're streaming on Watch ESPN, YouTube, and Twitch.tv.
These games have been fantastic. Oh my gosh. It's getting low. I don't think they're going to be able to save it in time. Oh, and Melkor taking a lot of damage here, but Zero goes down. This is it. It looks like they may have enough damage to actually end this game right now. GG. They are your heroes of the storm.
Hello and welcome to Heroes of the Dorm 2016. Once again, my name is Kevin Cloaken Johnson, of course, joined by Tim Trikslyr Frazier. We've got an epic 64-team battle happening today. And of course, Tim, I couldn't be more excited to be here with you, my friend.
Dude, I'm so in the moment right now. Today is the round of 64. We're finally here for 2016, and it's about to heat up, Kevin. I'm pumped.
Yeah, man, and of course, Heroes of the Dorm has been running for a significant time up until this point. We have a good, long history ahead of us here so far. February 20th was where this all began. We had over 400 teams registered to participate in Heroes of the Dorm all across North America. They played in an online qualifier that was double elimination all the way up to March 6th. We then took the top 16 teams from each region, spread them across a 64-team bracket that we are going to begin digging into today. March 19th through April 3rd will be bracket play, and then of course concluding with the Heroic Four and the Grand Finals in Seattle, Washington on April 9th and 10th. It's going to be an epic month of coolness.
Yeah, totally.
And of course, here's that regional breakdown we talked about. North, South, East, and West. All 400 of those teams were carved into these categories. And again, double elimination tournament that then has led us to this round of 64 bracket. Our attention is going to be directed in these initial games at bracket A, but A, B, C, and D is the language we're using to refer to these quadrants. And of course, this first match is going to be coming out of bracket A.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really cool day for us. I'm so excited to get into these games. We've been studying these teams. We've been talking about them. We've been having conversations with their captains, hearing about how they've practiced. I'm really excited to see how it all turns out.
A bunch of great guys for sure will be watching today. But for you at home, if you're new, first off, welcome to the stream, and thank you for joining us. But what is Heroes of the Storm? Well, let's talk about it. We'll give you an idea of what exactly you'll be watching today on today's broadcast. So Heroes of the Storm is Blizzard Entertainment's MOBA that brings everyone together, and really you're going to pick up a whole bunch of different iconic heroes. You'll see 5 players pick 5 different heroes and make team compositions and really fight on a variety of different objectives that will really test their limits and all of their strategies. You'll be seeing a lot of cool things like, hey, look, a pirate. You'll see other things as well, like a golem and other things that will be turning in spider gems and really just working together to really figure out a way to beat their opponents and do the major objective, kill the core. Now, the question is, how do you get to the killing of the core? Well, you're going to be working together as a team to level up. Yes, that's right. You'll be killing minions, get experience. You'll be taking out infrastructure as well to get experience. And if you kill your opponents, hey, what? You get experience. Work together, get team compositions, use strategy, but above all else, have fun and use teamwork.
That's right. Teamwork, absolutely the name of the game. Coordination, collaboration, communication. These are utmost huge C words for how these teams make the most of every second on the battleground. And of course, welcome to all of those out there who aren't as familiar with Heroes of the Storm as a game. We're going to be doing our best to bring you along with us while talking to all of you out there who also are huge fans that have been watching and playing this game for years, for the years that it's been out.
Well, Kevin, I'm ready to start jumping into the brackets. We are actually going to be starting with bracket A today. And you see, these matches will be running all day. These are 16 teams in the bracket A, but the one that we are looking at, you and I, Kevin, Illinois versus Miami, the Mad Banners versus the Tribal Toucans, and this is a matchup that I'm just utterly excited for.
Yeah, interesting matchup, man. It's basically the stories of the returning team, the sort of veteran mindset here versus the absolute newcomers with Miami Tribal Toucans. First time that they've ever had a team participating in an event like this, and some of these players are actually very, very young themselves. So, you know, but both of these teams have had losses in the qualifying round, so even Illinois as a stalwart veteran team, you know, Miami's ready and could take games off of them. You know, we could see an upset in that sense, and of course, they certainly seem to have the mindset for it. We spoke with them this past week, and you know, though they are young, they certainly shouldn't be counted out. They've been practicing hard. They've been working together a significant bit over their spring break, and I think they're ready to go. Yeah,
this was a matchup that on paper I looked at immediately. I was like, hey, Mad Banners all the way, 2-0, easy victory. And then after those conversations, man, there's a place in my heart here for Toucans. They could totally do something here. But first, let's go ahead and look at at the wonderful Mad Banners here. Here is the team captain, Kakisho. He is actually here from Illinois. He is the only returning member from 2015 that made it to the Heroic Four, but the roster he has is pretty darn strong. Here they are. The two players that I'm looking at to make plays today will be Astrobroth and Unlimited. Guts and Legolas will help, bolster out that roster. But when it comes to teamwork and really just kind of finishing up the game, these guys are individually skilled and they just work together as a unit. And you will see that today as you'll see them pick apart their opponents throughout the entire day. Mad Banners, man, if you pick them in your brackets, not a bad pick at all because they could totally make it out if you're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, on the other side, Miami Tribal Toucans, they're going to be headed up and led by King. This is Rick Renault. This guy is a freshman at the University of Miami, and wow, what a mature guy. We talked about him, how he pulled this team together, basically their mindset going into these games. And I was just very impressed with his maturity, the way in which they viewed this being present in the round of 64. They know that it's a huge, huge, cool event for them to be a part of, but they're not done. They really want to get through this game. And in fact, they believe King, with the support of King Knight, Lucky Pants, Toys, and Villain on their team, he thinks if they can get a win off of Illinois, that they could go all the way to the round of 4. And you know what? I don't doubt them. This could be their hardest battle to date. And if they can get a victory here, they will go far. I think they have the chance to get that boost of encouragement, that belief in themselves. If they can get this win off of Illinois, they could go very far in this tournament.
Yeah, I like their focus. When we talked to them, they mentioned that the main thing for them is their teamwork and being able to rotate around the map.
Yeah.
And if they can stay true to that, and then of course kind of keep building on that as they go throughout the tournament, they can really, really go far. But again, they have to overcome Illinois. Illinois does have that experience from 2015, so it's going to be a hard matchup, but we believe, man.
Absolutely. And all these first games are going to be played on Sky Temple today. So each of the battlegrounds that we will be seeing following will be different, but the initial game will be played on Sky Temple. And of course, Sky Temple is a 3-lane battleground, one of the larger battlegrounds in Heroes of the Storm. And of course, the central objective built around these temples. There are mercenary camps, 5 of them spread across the map that each team can access to help support this pushing through the lanes towards the opposing team's core. But it is all about those temples. Owning that space, that little yellow circle that you see there, basically getting set up there so that you can access the power of these temples to blast your enemy's fortifications, get that experience boost, and push towards the core.
Totally. Yeah, this is a map that's very unique in how you can actually just win the game by not actually pushing into the opposing core.
Right.
You can kill it off by holding down the middle of the map. In fact, let's look at a heat map here, and you can actually see where a majority of the fights happen. All this red here in the center is actually a big deal for our teams. They're able to really just kind of grab these temples, and of course, if you grab 1 or 2 of them, they will shell away on the cores here on the left and right side. So really, you'll see all the fights happening in there, and eventually towards the end of the game, you'll see a lot of teams kind of push in and finish off the core. In fact, this heat map is from the earlier qualifying round, so you're going to see a lot of the left side not having much damage on it. It's because the higher seeds are usually there, but as we go throughout the tournament, you should see it balance out a little bit more.
Absolutely, and of course, that would be a killed heat map of all the kills that take place on the map in all the pre-qualifying rounds. But yeah, we are ready to basically jump into this draft, and of course, the drafts here today, at least in these initial maps, have all been drafted a little bit ahead of time. So you're going to see us walk through how they were played quickly. We won't have as much time to talk about them here, but we will unpack it all in the games.
Yeah, we want to get you in the game as soon as possible. So first bans here, Thrall going out for Illinois. Wise choice here. Miami's most played hero in the earlier rounds was Thrall. They love playing that hero. Li Ming will be the follow-up here from Miami. Mad Banners, when you have Kakisho or, of course, or Ultimate, you do have you have players there that are just so strong at playing Li Ming, so a good ban there.
Absolutely. Illinois prioritizing Sonya. Such a great bruiser warrior hero. So much damage able to come out of this hero with a lot of sustain as she uses her whirlwind to get health back and speed. She's a really, really strong first pick for them. And of course, Miami choosing to lead their hero roster with Zagara and Greymane. Of course, Zagara, a really great hero. We know that she has incredible lane control. She also has the support of using her creep tumors for vision and of course, Greymane. One of our newer heroes in Heroes of the Storm. This guy has a lot of damage potential. He can go from incredible poke, what we call dealing damage from far, but then also transition into his Worgen form for incredible melee damage. He actually gets more auto attack damage in melee form, and of course can cover great distances by his transformation. So he can dive in, go for the kill when heroes are low on health, and just basically secure those takedowns for his team.
Yeah, I like these targeted bans here from Miami, or these targeted picks. Miami taking out Leeming and then grabbing Greymane takes away heroes that Kakisho and Unlimited are great on. Well, let's go back over to Illinois, see what they're going to be picking up. Murden, a great pickup against Greymane. You're able to get the Reverberation also just to pull out the Storm Bolts. And then Falstad, great damage. And also, if there's ever any crazy devouring mauls from Miami, you can just kind of Mighty Gust that away and kind of reset the entire fight, like the picks.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see Miami doing this. They said that they spent a good amount of time studying the picks of their opponents and going for those targeted pans, so I do love that. And here's that Falstad you were talking about. Of course, Mighty Gust tends to be the heroic that we see picked up. It's so much disengage, and the cooldown is actually very short, so you can use it very often right now, and we will certainly see them using that to, like you said, address the maws that will inevitably be coming from Cigar. Okay, so Miami going for their ban on Tassadar, followed by a ban from Illinois on ETC as we move into these later picks. And, you know, Tassadar, a very strong hero, able to bring out great vision, so interesting that they would ban them. And then, of course, ETC, one of our stronger warriors. And then Miami picking up Jaina, such a great burst damage dealer with also the ability to control the battleground with her slows. She deals a lot of frost damage, basically gums up team fights, slows them down. And then, of course, Miami picking up Tyrande,
which is their favorite hero. They think Shadowstalk is the most broken ability in the game, so they're going to pick him up for game number 1.
Yeah.
Illinois will now have the chance to pick 4th and 5th here. But yeah, that Shadowstalk, that heroic ability,
love it.
will actually cloak your entire team so you can get an engagement in, and of course give off a nice heal as well. The Hunter Mark is great too for your teamwork, and that's what they're good at, you know, working together and focusing on target. They're not the most efficient team in terms of killing somebody off, but Hunter Mark will definitely help that out a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting how much they talked about Shadowstalk, how they love to initiate team fights off of that ability. They think it's really broken, and it'll be interesting to see how they put that to test here on Sky Temple. Of course, their final 2 picks for Illinois, Uther and Vala. Uther, just a solid healer with great burst healing, single target healing coming from him, and also a good bit of control with his stuns. Vala, just a solid ranged assassin, a lot of great damage, and of course her multi-shot build is very well known out of that hero, able to deal a lot of damage from afar over a group of minions or heroes if she needs to. Poke from afar, get those basically strafes out of her her vault, you know, really cool.
And
hero.
Miami needed some control towards the end there. They also need a warrior they can engage, and why not pick up Johanna? She's got all those tools available. So that's the draft there. You know, looking at it right away, I feel like Miami's got a lot of comfort picks, and they also targeted some bans out. So they are doing their research, but in terms of like pure able to fight and being able to be very versatile, Mad Banners does have a really good draft here.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Miami executing on their strategy. They said they were going to go in. They studied replays on their opponents. They targeted those bans. They look like they got on some heroes, some comfort picks. I agree with you, man. They're looking really strong. Their game plan coming out of the draft feels like it's on point. So we'll see how they play. But that's our thoughts. We want to hear your thoughts. If you're out there and you want to get your vote in for this game, who do you think's going to win? Head over to Twitter. Use the hashtag Heroes of the Dorm and the hashtag for the team that you're voting for, either Miami or Illinois. We will check the results of those polls as we get further into the game.
Yeah, and just going back to the draft really quickly here, I do like the Uther pick, by the way.
Sure.
Rhaegar did get a couple of nerfs. He can't heal himself anymore with Ancestor Healing as a patch last week. So Uther is kind of that pseudo niche role that Rhaegar kind of filled. He's not as good as healing with the Ancestor Healing, but he does have that wave of light available to them. And of course, the Divine Shield. When Greymane does go into Worgen form, it's a bit of an all-in move, right? You're going in for a kill. You got that Bloodlust going. You really want to take somebody out quickly. But Divine Shield really puts the game on pause for a little bit there. So targets like Vala and Falstad will be able to be saved here. Sonya and Murden are going to be fine by themselves, man. They're going to be able to go in and do a lot of work. Uther will be keeping an eye on Falstad and Vala in a majority of these fights. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's a really great point. He's such a strong healer, and I think it makes total sense that they would prioritize him given the changes to Rhaegar. I think the competitive community is still trying to figure out exactly what those changes to Rhaegar mean. I think whenever a big change like that happens to a hero like Rhaegar that people are really used to playing a certain way, it takes a while for everyone to adjust, you know, and maybe that means they fall back to heroes that they're comfortable on, that they feel confident, they know how to get the most out of, and that makes sense with that Uther pick for sure.
I think really Miami has a nice prolonged team fight here with Shadowstalk giving that burst of heal at the end of the entire duration of the heroic, and then of course Johanna able to kind of just dive Vala and Falstad and really take them out. You know, Falstad is wanting to keep that damage for, Greymane or anyone they can take out really quickly. But if he has to put all his damage into Johanna and is having to actually deal with the peel, then of course you have the blinding light coming from Johanna. Vala and Falstad could have a really, really hard problem here. So, the more I think about it, I think Miami wants to draw out fights, which is what this battleground does very, very well. You're around Sky Temple, you have a territory that you have to hold down. So if they can just posture and kind of take it where they can and, not overextend, because Toronto doesn't have the best Q healing, right? They can totally make things work out for them.
Yeah, sure. All right, well, before we jump into this any further, let's take a quick look at what we're going to be showing today on Heroes of the Dorms broadcast. Of course, we talked about the matchup here between Illinois Mad Banners and the Miami Tribal Toucans, but following that, we will be watching Georgia Tech 8th Street West versus Rutgers Grease Trucks, and then after that, we're going to get Gilly and Jake Kulinski up here for the Florida State Crab Legs versus Indiana Mighty Churros, followed by Ohio State Bucks versus UCLA Kyle's Kimchi, and then Tim and I will be back. Washington Hot Dogs.
The dogs.
Yeah, man, the dog fight. Washington Hot Dogs versus Temple 4 Guys and a Dog. That is what you're going to look forward to in the next, basically today for our broadcast today. So 12 teams we're going to be able to highlight today. I wish we could get to all of them.
There's so many teams.
Yeah, we know that 64 are playing today and only 32 are going to make it into tomorrow. But at least we get to look at 12 of them.
Yeah.
Each of them, as we've been able to call them, talk to them, hear their stories, man, it's been really cool.
Yeah.
Each of these teams so happy to be representing their schools, to be basically affirmed in their efforts to bring in what could be in some cases teams that really came together in the last minute together, prove that they can work together to accomplish like an incredible goal like this, getting to the round of 64 in a tournament like Heroes of the Dorm. So you hear their confidence, a lot of them just basically saying that they are happy to be here. Of course, they want to get further in the tournament, but they're really happy to be in the round of 64. They feel like they've already surpassed their expectations and are looking forward to putting on a good fight. And who knows, maybe they can go all the way.
Yeah, I'm ready to see who is going to overcome the nature of the beast, right? Because today 64 teams are playing, but only 32 advanced to tomorrow, right? And who's going to overcome that? Who's going to stop being happy with where they're at and be ready to keep moving forward, right? That's what this entire tournament's about, becoming better, always moving your team forward, working your team compositions, and becoming a positive force, right, and moving forward. So, I'm looking forward to tomorrow because we're going to be doing a total of, 6 teams tomorrow as well.
Absolutely.
So we got a lot coming up. And, we actually have a whole bunch going on. Let's look at the broadcast schedule real quick. We can see what we'll be showing you guys over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of those other brackets, actually, to talk about the seeding. We went through this in our seeding show, but I think it's a really good thing to point out for sure, these matchups. So we talked about bracket A, the upper portion. That's what we are looking at today, the Illinois-Miami matchup. But then going down the bottom portion of bracket A, let's take a look at that. We have some really cool teams, and in fact, Tim labeled this quadrant the Quadrant of Death because there are some incredible teams. Tennessee, Weavall, and of course that has a very skilled player, Rufflecopter, on it versus Illinois Chicago, Buffalo versus USC, Assumption, Kairos, another team that you want to keep your eye on, just very skilled mechanical players out of Assumption versus UCLA, LSU versus Case Western, and that will round out our A bracket. If we move on down to the B section here, we have the upper portion of B, UT Arlington, Dark Blaze. Now these guys, everyone's kind of got their eye on them. We have some significantly talented players coming out of that team. Their first matchup is going to be with Cornell. Moving down, Ohio State with UCLA, Carleton versus Santa Clara, and UT Dallas versus Maryland. That is the top portion of bracket B, and then of course the bottom portion, Boston College versus Belmont, Washington, Western Washington versus Wisconsin, Utah, Michigan, Johns Hopkins, and Texas A&M. Tim, why don't you talk a little bit about the bracket C and D?
Yeah, bracket C looks fun. This is the bracket that Jake went over for us in the bracket reveal show, but UConn is looking pretty darn strong here. The Mighty Ducks, I just like them because they have an awesome name. Of course, Indiana Mighty Churros can make it pretty far as well. Ohio State versus LSU could be a good matchup, but the one that I'm really looking for is Cal for the Dream, and then Temple IML Wolves. Now remember, this isn't the Cal Berkeley, the Misha's Bears, right? This is the other team. This is their B team, if you will, but they can make it far as well. Now, of course, on the bottom half of the C bracket, we do have the Cal Berkeley Golden Bears that could make it pretty far, which is also the Golden Mishas, versus Harvard, which that should be a match that they should make it over pretty easily. Michigan, South Florida could be one as well, and then San Jose State versus George Mason. So we got a lot of cool, fun stuff happening in the C bracket, but bracket D is the real scary one for a lot of people. I think Arizona State's going to make it all the way out. For the real dream team here, they'll be going against Robert Morris, but I have heard that Robert Morris is putting in work, man. They are ready for that matchup, and they want to make sure that they are the underdogs that come in and, come out biting, right? Lovell versus Texas A&M, Penn versus Florida, and then Cal Poly Panama versus Riverson is going to be a good matchup as well.
All right, well, last bracket here, but not least, D bracket, Toronto versus Utah Valley. East Carolina versus WCU, Georgia Tech, Rutgers, and that's a match that Tim and I are going to be doing today, a little bit later, and of course Minnesota versus Nevada. So really solid collection of teams here. We're going to have some incredible matches, and of course every round it's just going to get crazier and crazier. And let's talk about that. Over the course of this month, we have a lot of broadcasts coming your way, significant amount of content. Today and tomorrow we've talked about that, but let's take a look at our schedule over the course of the month to show you exactly what you're in for, leading all the way up to that live event. So Sunday, March 20th, round of 32. That is tomorrow, 10 a.m. And then, of course, the next weekend, Saturday, March 26th, the Super 16th at 9 a.m. Eastern, followed by Sunday, March 27th, the Epic 8, 2 p.m. Eastern. All of this streaming live on Watch ESPN, YouTube, and Twitch. And then, of course, we have the Grand Finals and the Heroic Four that will be happening on April 9th and 10th at the Seattle, Washington CenturyLink Field Event Center. And you know what? There's still an opportunity to get involved in that event. If you're out there and you want to be there for that epic conclusion, if you saw last year's dorm, I can guarantee you this year's is going to be even bigger. We still have priority seating available. I think it's just $15. And of course, general admission is completely free. So it is going to be an awesome opportunity. If you're in the area or if it's even just a short trek for you, you're going to want to turn out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. Last year was so fun, man. Make sure to bring your thunder sticks because it gets loud in there, right? Just cheering for your favorite teams. You know, everyone is there to kind of just hang out and really enjoy Heroes of the Storm and what these teams are really accomplishing, which is a crazy feat in itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if you're looking for more information about all of that stuff and how to get involved, you can head to heroesofthedorm.com. We will be keeping our brackets up to date there. All of the information about the location, the live event in Seattle, how to watch, it's all going to be there. That will be your home base, heroesofthedorm.com. So definitely bookmark that so you can head back to it all month.
Yeah, and here's the dorm. You're going to find all the stats there on the team, lots of information available to you. I know everyone's already filled out their fantasy brackets, but you got to follow it, man. You got to stay on top of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tim, let's turn our attention back to these two teams. Our first matchup, Illinois Mad Banners versus Miami Tribal Toucans. We talked about this as basically the story of the returning team versus the young startup team. And I think this is a really great situation for Tribal Toucans. We looked at their draft.
Yeah.
We talked about comfort picks for them versus targeted bans coming out against Illinois. And you know what? This map in particular really plays to their strengths. They talked about how they're a team that's really known for their rotations. They feel like they rotate and play on some of these larger battlegrounds a lot better than their opponents. So I don't know. I think this is a good situation for Miami. And like you said, my heart is kind of rooting for them. But I don't know. What do you think? Or do you think they're going to be able to take a game or a win off of these guys?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. When it comes to Tribal Toucans, this map is perfect for them, right? There is a timer saying, hey, a temple is up. You have 20 seconds to get down there. And if you can, mention to your teammates, hey, we should start grouping up, start rotating, and they rotate as an entire team and move down, they can totally do a lot. So it looks like we're actually getting ready to hop into the game here. Here we are, finally, Illinois Mad Banners on the far left here. A quick note, Kikisho will not be in here. Joel, their sub, will be filling in for this game. He should be back for game number 2. Unlimited, Guts, Astrobroth, and Legolas will go ahead and fill out this entire roster for the blue team.
Yep, and on the red side, the Miami Tribal Toucans, headed by King on Johanna, King Knight, and then Lucky Pants, Toys, and Villain. It looks like we have some of those hero images a little bit mixed up on those graphics, but that's okay. The draft still seems to be completely in line with the heroes that we're seeing in the game, so that is cool.
I think leave Lucky Pants in the middle. Oh, no, okay. Lucky Pants should be going to the bottom lanes where Zagar really dominates on this map because that bottom portion area is usually an area where you only put one hero there.
Right.
It's kind of inefficient to send a couple people down there, but Taronda might go through
careful.
here. I know she out to the left, but she didn't see them in this bush. Now, we do have 3 people in the middle lane for our red team, the Tribal Toucans. Zagar is now in the bottom lane, and it looks like no one will be picked off here. Nice patience there, not knowing where their opponents were. They just stayed in lanes and played it safe.
But I love that. They're basically, I love this out of the Mad Banners. They're trying to figure out how to make the most of every opportunity. Why not take that time to set up the opportunity to get a quick early kill? That can be demoralizing to the opposing team if you can just get in their head early, say, you know what, we got you. We were so organized early, we all hid in the bush and took you out. You didn't even know it was coming. So I love that they're actually being that specific with their play.
Yeah, that's the main factor for getting that kill early. You don't get that much experience, but you're right, Kevin. It's all about demoralizing them and really setting the tempo for the game, right? Say, hey, we're ready to come out and take you guys out. Lucky Pants in trouble on the bottom lane, though, is going to get ganked, and there is a stun. A first kill going to the Mad Banners here, and they will grab a nice little experience lead. King now moving his way down here to really try and help out and soak that experience.
Temples spawning in 5 seconds. Of course, we have temples at the top and the middle portion of this map, and Villain and King Knight just holding it down here in the top lane. Of course, they're going to be in a good situation, and it looks like we do have a pause here by Astrobroth. Sometimes this happens, issues with hardware. Who knows exactly why, but you know, we're going to basically ease into it.
I do want to note that Villain in that top lane is using a lot of mana just to burn through that wave. He's trying to get it pushing so they can move over to a temple. The problem is he won't have that mana available for the team fight in the middle and the bottom there, so he needs to be a little bit careful there and maybe need to be a little more reserved in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, apologize for the technical difficulties here. We're just getting started. Sometimes when you have your first games, we have issues like this as we're sorting out connectivity and all of this. So, you know, we'll get to it.
There's one of my favorite things, though, about watching these games is seeing the early game, right? We got a really quick sense on the tempo for both teams.
Yep.
First, Miami, they're willing to play safe. They're willing to play back. Even Zagara in that bottom lane wasn't really trying to bully Falstad. Falstad does okay against Zagara, but Zagara can totally win that fight if she gets a nice bailing and kind of get those waves pushing and grab a minion experience lead. But she wasn't doing that. She was sitting back. She put creep tumors and she sat by her turrets the entire time. And even then, she still got ganked by the Mad Banners and was taken out very quickly. Whereas the Mad Banners, they're coming out shotguns going, right? They're ready to take people out. They were sitting in a bush ready for a first kill. They secured the first kill with that rotation in the bottom. And now, just really quick before we even go to the temples, they're already moving to set up on the middle shrine there.
So it sounds like we did actually have a player disconnect from the game, but that is getting sorted really quick. So we'll be back into the game momentarily. But as we talked about, I think just getting our first sense of these two teams, you know, Illinois coming out for the kill. They want to set a good precedent up front, get in the head of Miami, and you know that makes total sense. There's that early kill on Zagara.
The worst thing about this for Zagara is she wasn't completely out of position, right? She was tucked in the bottom right corner underneath her creep near her turrets.
Right, that's like the ideal
it's a safe spot
for her to be.
And normally you don't have 3 people rotating the bottom lane on that map to take out a takedown. But again, Mad Banners are like, hey, we're going to make a call here. We're coming for you guys. We're going to take every single one of you that we can. I do want to commend the rotation there from King, though. King Knight, he did rotate down there and he grabbed that experience, which is the important thing here. Whenever someone is taken out, you need to cover for your teammate. Get the experience, make sure you're staying in the game and don't die.
Yeah, a couple other interesting facts about the Miami Tribal Toucans. King and Villain are roommates. These two guys, you know, they've been at school together, playing together. Villain wasn't initially slated to be on this team, but as they were looking to try to fill out their roster, Villain has got a lot of experience in other games in this genre and, you know, was able to basically come on board. So he's a very mechanically skilled player, but he also has some of the less experience on this team playing with Heroes of the Storm as a game. So we will look for him to play some highly mechanical play, but listen to the calls of his team on how to basically make and coordinate strategy on these battlegrounds. And of course, we talked about King. King is the captain for the Miami Tribal Toucans, a psychology and computer science major that is basically just a freshman.
All right, well, it looks like we are ready to go back into the game. We can watch King and his roster try to fight back here as they are a little bit behind in the match already. So let's go ahead and jump back into it. We'll be going into Sky Temple and we're seeing how these teams are going to actually rotate to their temples.
Yeah, absolutely. Temples are spawning in the top and middle, and we are back in. King Knight and Villain in a good position to sort of set up camp on this top temple, and King Knight is in it, already getting initial hits on the top fort for Illinois.
All right, so this is actually a very common strat. You're going to see teams try to kind of sit in their lanes and just send whatever resources they can to these temples to try and hold them. It usually will be a 1-for-1 trade if possible, but it looks like we're going to be having Johanna and Falstad in the bottom lane there, and Falstad does pretty decent against Johanna, but again, they're just trying to sit there and have this weird tug of war where they just kind of hold the map there and get the experience, but it looks like we do have one more pause once again. But again, just going back to the real quick strategy, usually teams in the early game will go ahead and trade 1-for-1 unless they get a very quick kill right before it. And since with all 5 members available for both teams, you see them do the standard trade, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it sounds like the same player disconnected again from the game, so we're going to be addressing that as quickly as we can to try to get back into this game for you. We apologize for all the starts and stops. Sometimes this is the nature of the beast as we're dealing with a variety of different connectivity issues. But we're back.
We're back.
That's awesome.
We're doing it. All right. Well, 3 members in the middle shrine here for the Mad Banners. And again, you see that laser shelling away on infrastructure that will award the team's experience. Miami has 2 people actually in the very top left, or the top shrine at the moment. Greymane and Tyrande kind of help each other out. The sustained healing from Tyrande, Greymane bringing the damage. And you see in the bottom lane, Johanna just trying to push that lane as much as possible. Falstad will be able to clear it up, and Falstad can fly if a situation does occur where they're going to have a fight in the middle lane.
Yeah, and it looks like both teams pretty content at this point to just sort of trade out these temples. You know, Tribal Toucans getting the top one, Mad Banners on the middle one. You know, that's not a bad trade. That's not a bad strategy. As long as they're staying, you know, kind of on par with each other in this early game with the XP gain and not losing losing a lot of ground. That's not a bad strategy.
Yeah, Lucky Pants, not to like call him out too much or anything here, but he just seems to be a little lost in what he wants to do with Zagara. Zagara in the early game just kind of owns it, man. She's a bully. We talked about it earlier. But as she moves to the mid game, her main source of power is really her Devouring Maul and her Hydralisk, and that's about it. So you want to be using this early game to be as aggressive as you can. And she's been bouncing back between lanes trying to figure out how to get Creep Timber down and really try to hold down the lane. That's been her main objective for this team, which kind of yells to me that the team says, hey, just get creep everywhere. That's what I want you to do, instead of push your lanes in. So I feel like there's a small missed opportunity, but it does make a little sense here. As you can look at the mini-map, they actually have a lot of vision already.
All right, we're seeing a little scuffle here as Toys is getting caught out. Oh, and this is definitely going to be a second kill for Mad Banners against the Tribal Toucans. Not a good situation for the Tribal Toucans to be in, but they're not far. They're not falling behind too bad. These initial kills, they do count for experience, and honestly, it's mostly that more morale issue that we talked about. But it looks like right now we're seeing some siege camps being picked up by the Mad Banners, as they do have a little bit of a window of time to do
I
that.
like this.
Ooh,
okay,
yeah,
so
aggressive.
Mad Banners actually got the advantage by taking out Toys there. So they got the mercs in the bottom right corner. But Miami says, you know what? We as three will run up here to the top left corner and try to steal your knight. This is a very, very bold and risky move. And the Mad Banners, I don't think know about it yet, because in the middle lane they're pushing in right now, which means they're not rotating in, and they're going to grab it. Now, can they get out? That's the question. Falset's above them, Uther and Ball is below them as well, and Guts is here too to slow them down.
Yeah, it looks like...
Here comes the multi-shot.
Here it is.
It should slow them down. Toronto should be the target here. Toronto should be dead. And Falset's coming in. Villain in trouble as well. King Knight trying to run away. We're going to see Jaina and King Knight fall. And geez, Mad Banners, dude, they are so good at just taking people out quick here. Johanna in trouble as well. Unstoppable is burned immediately here. King trying to rotate, but Guts with the whirlwind will finish off the takedown. And now a total of, what, 5 takedowns to 0?
Yeah, not worth, Tim. That aggressive Merc camp was a big, risky move on behalf of the Tribal Toucans, but it did not pay off for them. So, unfortunately, they are now falling behind in the XP game as Illinois pulls ahead almost a full half level ahead of their opponents, Miami. And you know what? That is a significant issue, because as the race to 10 becomes closer and closer, that's going to give Illinois an even bigger leg up, basically preventing Miami from doing anything to stop them. And here we see Unlimited trying to get his hand on that Merc camp that was spawned by Tribal Toucans. And right now, even more engagements here in the bottom lane.
Okay, so we're going to see Miami try to get an engagement here. Greymane will lead the charge here. King now following up. They want to try and grab Uther here, as he's the one that's out of position and low on heals. Legless does fall. And Unlimited, actually low on HP in the top left corner, was not able to fly down here. So Miami now showing up, going to try and grab as many shots as they can. Illinois might just want to go ahead and go to different lanes here. They've lost Uther. Just go ahead and start moving towards 10, because if you look in the top of the scoreboard right now, they are 9.5 in levels. That means they want to get to 10 and win that race to grab your heroics.
I think that's a really great move by Miami, though, to just boldly know that they have a short window, short window before 10 to get priority on that temple, and they did it, man. So that is great. They're not out of this game. You can tell that they're mentally still sharp. They realize that there are these small windows of time where they have to make the most of it. And there you see, they're backing away now. They should not be looking for an engagement until they hit level 10 so that they can be on an equal power level with their opponents.
Yeah, Miami's doing the strat of hanging in there. That's what they're doing right now. Right. They're actually ahead in infrastructure because they killed the fort in the top left corner early on. So now grabbing Knights, they'll be able to keep up that pressure on the map. They're getting creep everywhere, which is very, very important for keeping up that map pressure as you keep vision on your opponents. But Illinois right now has advantage in terms of heroics. If they catch anyone here, they can potentially take them out quickly. I don't know about going into this. Miami just running in. Mighty Gust will fly off. Toys is thrown away. Astrobroth's going to land the Stormbolt here. King in trouble as well. And it looks like Miami will just barely get away.
Honestly,
I can't believe it went in.
I think that Gust saved them, which is really worked to their favor. If they had really hung into that fight, that would not have gone well for them. So that Mighty Gust was really a blessing for them, and I'm glad that they knew that it was time to pull back and not commit to that fight, because they were just not set up to do that well.
So Miami is getting into a pattern here. I'm starting to see it. They're just grouping up as 5. You see them in the middle lane, just rotating around like crazy. And this can work against unexperienced teams, but experienced teams will spread out. You'll see Falstad go in the bottom lane, and they'll just call out, hey, I just follow 5 people in the top lane. That means you have 7 seconds in the bottom lane to do whatever you want. Falstad should go to middle lane, go to bottom lane, do any aggression to keep that lead that they have in levels.
Yeah, Miami looking a little bit scattered, as it feels like they're just chasing their opponents right now. Mad Banners as well, you know, they know that they're kind of being hunted, so they're sticking together as a group of 5 as well, but trying to figure out how to capitalize where they can. Both teams, I think, just a little jittery, trying to figure out how to get into this mid game. I want to make sure that they're not losing or not keeping their eye on the experience in those lanes. Right now, we just see them already jumping to the team fight game, which you often see in the latter portions of these games. maybe they're a little bit early to jump into this 5v5 mentality.
Illinois does have the mercenary timings down. They grabbed the mercenaries just now, right before the temple spawn.
Sure.
That way they have that pressure in the bottom lane, and they can figure out where the temple spawn from there and make the adjustments. Now, the better choice here for both teams is to grab the bottom shrine, because there is a boss above this that is easy to grab if someone commits too much to the top temple. So you're going to see Mad Banners position all 5 members down here in the bottom left, because it is a better strategy here for them.
Of course, yeah, blue team getting there early means a lot, and that it's very, very hard to get into this bottom shrine if you're not there early, and red team just trying to figure out how to make an initiation.
Oh,
like,
no.
Oh, totally missed!
The whiff, man, that is very unfortunate. That's a huge tool here. If you're Mad Banners, you're going in. Lucky Pants getting picked off. 1 member now falling. Ring of Frost will hit 2 members, but it doesn't really do too much here. King in trouble, but remember, he does have a high health pool. The main targets here are King Knight and Villain.
Oh, here we go!
Pushed into everyone. The stun by Legolas. Toys in trouble as they start taking damage unlimited with the shields and the teamwork and just the pure numbers. 4 members here falling for Miami.
Oh man, Miami just looking so sharp with their knowledge of how to capitalize. They saw the complete whiff from the Maul, which is such a crucial heroic for the Tribal Toucans, and they capitalized on it. They seized on it and went for the throw. And Unlimited, of course, with that aggressive fly and the pushback that just sealed the fate for Miami in that engagement. And what a smart move on their part to go for the boss right now.
Yeah.
Might as well get an even higher advantage when you have one like this. So they're going to get this boss, and that's going to really work in their favor, pushing in the bottom lane.
Yeah, if you ever, by the way, if you ever lose a team fight like that, you can always, count to 10, and if you don't see anyone grabbing a temple, that means they're getting the boss. The boss has now been grabbed to start pushing the bottom lane, but here's a quick mighty gust here from the team. We just threw everyone into their opponents. Joel finished up the Toronto there on the left, and then Toys is going to be taken out as well. 4 members just killed up very, very quickly.
Yep, absolutely, and of course, we're already in the middle of a shrine situation here.
Top lane, King in trouble, gonna pop his iron skin here and try to get away. There goes the Falstad hammering, though, and that will be enough to secure 1 more kill.
It's interesting to see Miami basically having to use Shadowstock as a survival tool, and that is not what we talked about with them about how they work. Yeah, it doesn't work, man.
The survival tool.
It's really not a heal. I mean, it does heal you, but you don't want to be using it for that. You want to be using it to basically get a leg up on your opponents, not as a way to get away from a bad situation.
Yeah, Shadowstock is just a proactive ability in general, not a reactive one. But now, if you're Miami, what are you doing? Well, you're trying to get into your lanes. You're trying to get map control back. We have some creep here and there for Zagara, but you want to get to level 13 as well, unlock that talent available to you. They still have firepower, right? If they do pick somebody off, they do hit a Devouring Maul, they do have the Ring of Frost combo as well, and they have the Grey Mane damage, so they're not out of it. Get to 13, keep working together, and don't make a mistake like we saw last time.
They're not out of this fight for sure. We're already right now, they just hit 13. They're on an equal power level, and it looks like this is another opportunity for a team fight here. And of course, Illinois is ready to take advantage of that. They want to get the fight to happen, but they are down 3 heroics, so they are not necessarily in a good spot here. But we'll see if they decide to commit. Master Broth just looking to
He's
go
going brave, dude.
though.
His current avatar state is in. He's got full health. Why not? If you hit that Stormbolt, that's a kill. So he just went for it, man. Sometimes you just got to go for the throws, man.
Yeah, for sure. And they clearly have Miami on the back foot, so just trying to capitalize on that as much as they can. And of course, Miami trying to clean up this wave so that they can get this top lane working in their favor a little bit more.
All right, Toronto just scouted the entire team for Illinois, so Miami is going to be able to figure out what exactly they want to do here. Do they want to engage? I would kind of caution no, don't do it, but we'll see what's going to happen here.
The XP game right now, get in a good setting for this next power tier as they get towards 16. They really need to catch up on that. Of course, they are going to have to figure out how to deal with these merc camps that have been spawned on behalf of Illinois, but I would not be looking for an aggressive fight here. They really need to figure out how to gain their XP.
Yeah, that entire maneuver there would just get that 1 creep tumor down, so they get an idea of where the positioning is for the team. Gutso just leading the charge here, feeling that level lead, trying to get to 16 down. They do know their opponents are probably going to try and grab these giants, and they do grab them for free here pretty much. There's no point in really trying to charge them there. Devouring Maul, Ring of Frost, great in that area.
Absolutely. Temple's activating in 20 seconds. We see one in the bottom and the mid. Of course, that middle one we often see. See how they play this. Are they going to go for vision? Yes, smart move by their part. Really, really helpful to have vision over this middle shrine before you go into cap it. So I'm glad to see that they're thinking that way.
Yeah,
the middle shrine, the way to get that XP.
The middle shrine is just safe for them because they get 2 lanes of soak experience, and as well, there's no boss available. So you can just go over here and try and grab what you want. But it looks like someone's in trouble here on the bottom left, and Zagara is dispatched of immediately.
So unfortunate.
I really need King to be a little bit more aggressive in scouting for his team around the bushes. Zagara should never never be into a bush, ever, until she knows it's safe. And Lucky Pants, as you saw there, will just be killed off immediately. She has no escapes, and she has a relatively medium health size pool that can be destroyed, especially if 5 members hit you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Miami's still in that level 14 talent, level 14 tier. They need to be getting experience, so nice to see them jumping on that as much as they can. But they are going for this bottom shrine, which is a good move on their part. At least they can get some counter damage going against Illinois in this particular wave of temples. But blue team ready to respond. Mad Banner's heading down. Looks like they are not scared. They're going to go after it. Astrobra setting up at the camp. Oh man, Tyrande, why? Oh,
yeah, that should have been king in that bush, and
Yeah.
picked off Toys going to try and get some damage on there. It's going to be hard for him to escape. Hopefully he has his Dark Blade available. Nope, just going to take it out immediately, and 3 members will retreat. At this point, Miami seems to be fighting for scraps.
Yeah.
And I feel like the scraps aren't doing it for them. They need to be taking chunks. Like in the middle lane, there's so much experience there they could have grabbed there and got them closer to 16. Instead, they lose the Temple, and they now lose 2 members.
Yeah, absolutely, and they really need to be paying attention to their positioning right now. They do not want to be throwing away heroes that are out of position from the rest of their team, especially as we get in towards this latter game. They need to be working and grouping up together and ensuring that they're not losing heroes, which basically hamstrings them from team fighting. So right now, Illinois just ready to take out Keeps. They want to go for the win, and they're putting that aggressive damage on it. But backing away for now, playing a little bit safe, going for the rest of that temple on the bottom. And
Dude, they want that keep.
Oh yeah, no,
they
they're
want
going
it
back.
Oh, they're going in.
They just wanted full team. They
Yo,
now
what
have,
up,
They
Keep?
now have Murden. They're going to be going in.
Done. Keep should be taken out quickly. There it is. If I'm red team, I would be pulling back here. Again, trying to get the 16. They're a quarter level away.
Yeah.
Soak what you can. Be patient here. The only thing they need to keep an eye on right now is the boss. And luckily, they have Tyrande. Tyrande can shadow stalk that, or not shadow stalk that, use her owl, her sentinel, and just go ahead and scout it right away.
And here it is, Illinois positioning around the boss. I think they're just trying to figure out if they should commit or not, because you know what? These are, this is the throw pit for a reason. You know, it's so tempting to want to go for this boss, but if Miami could get an engagement off of this, get a bunch of team kills, or a bunch of hero kills, and gain experience, that would give them a significant leg up. So that would be an opportunity for them to get back into this game, though it seems like they are so far behind right now.
Yeah, Mad Banner seems a little bit too smart for this. They're not going to try and grab that boss. They understand if they try to go for that objective, it could potentially be a throw.
There's no risk. Why do it?
Yeah, they were playing a game of chicken with the Toucans. Hey, are you going to come in? Do you want to fight? And it looks like the Toucans just did not want to. Now they do grab the bush. King finally being a little bit more aggressive here. Sonya is in trouble. Will pick up a little bit. Gosh, so much.
Again, positioning problems here. We're seeing heroes just out too far in front of the rest of their team, and of course they're just getting cleaned up here.
Villain's in trouble. King Knight in trouble as well. Down to a quarter health. It looks like Villain will be taken out. Lucky Pants low as well. Can they hit the Stormbolt? There it is. That is a dead Zagara as well. If the attack comes in, slam it up. There it is. All right, so 4 members down. Tyrande will survive. You know, if Mad Banners could actually win here, they can win. They have the time.
I think this is definitely going to be game for the Mad Banners as they move in for the kill. Didn't even get to level 20 in this first game. Wow. A lot of very, very strong play coming out of Illinois. Just looking very, very confident against Miami. And man, I mean, we kind of expected it in some ways.
Yeah.
We knew that they have experience with this game. They have experience in a competitive setting like Heroes of the Dorm, and certainly are coming out swinging.
Miami had a couple of solid plays there. They had some, you saw that they had a game plan, but it feels like they just fell way too far away from the game plan. A couple of throws here and there, a couple of people checking bushes that should not be checking bushes.
That was not right.
You know, one of the major things about playing in Heroes of the Dorm is you're learning that this is not an individual game.
Absolutely.
It's about teamwork. And you have people that are equipped to check those bushes out. We should have seen King be a little bit more aggressive.
Right.
You know, soaking a little bit better as well. I want to see Zagar maybe be used a little bit better in terms of holding down lanes and not so much about, hey, spread creep, that's your entire job. But here you go. You see the Mad Banner just being the beast that they are. They know how to, you know, go for the throat, if you will, if they need to, and they did so here, taking out the core. A quick 1-0 victory for them. Yeah,
absolutely. Fortunate to see just a lot of positioning mistakes out of Miami. Like I said, Heroes just a little bit out of position from the rest of their team, getting picked off. And the second that happens, the second you're playing a man down in a team fight like that, especially with a hero like Zagara getting taken out, or a hero like Tyrande, who is so responsible for all the damage your team's going to be dealing, man, you can't have confidence going into any of those fights, and you have to wait for your opponent to make a mistake to capitalize on it. And you know, Illinois just wasn't willing to do that. They weren't willing to make a mistake, and that's smart play by them. Very nice, conservative play. All right, guys, so we're 1 game in on this match between University of Illinois versus Miami. We still have another game, potentially 2 games to go in this matchup. Stick with us. We are just beginning. We'll see you right back after this break. Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm 2016. My name is Cloaken, of course, joined by Trikslyr, and we are one game in on this initial match between University of Illinois and Miami. Of course, we saw some convincing play out of Illinois in that first game, as they were basically just showing stronger team play, stronger rotations over Miami, just a lot of confidence in their aggression and smart, patient play when they had a lead, knowing not to give that lead away.
You know, if I had one tip for Miami going into game number 2, it's, you know, quit being so fearful, right?
Yeah.
You need to make plays. You cannot be scared to lose in a game like this. You need to be able to work together. You know what? At least you got the experience, right? That almost worked. We went full ham. We were 100%. I really feel like as they kept losing a hero here and there, they just kept, you know, retracting a little bit and being more scared, and it was so visible in their gameplay. So really hoping going into game 2 will be good.
Yeah, they kind of crumbled, and it's funny because we saw them in the mid game basically working as a really tight 5-man or roaming as a 5-man, which we kind of questioned at that time. But then as they got into the later game, it just sort of fell apart.
Yeah, totally did. Well, there was one player in particular that really stood out for me in that game. It's going to be Unlimited, who played Falstad. He hit a couple of very strong Mighty Gusts, as well as soaked a lot of experience in that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a little bit of a preview here for Unlimited. Of course, he is not quite decided on his major at the University of Illinois, but an assassin, and definitely one that we'll want to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, and he's a weird assassin. Usually you look at kill-death ratios and you're 6, 7, you know, 7.2, whatever. He's at a 1.8. He's a very safe assassin, you know. He makes the plays that are necessary for his team to win because he understands, you know, my team is going to help me propel ourselves to victory. Maybe Unlimited and the rest of Illinois can make it to the Heroic 4 in 2016.
Yeah, and clearly Falstad, a comfort pick for him. He loves to play on that hero, and on a map like Sky Temple, it's a perfect choice.
Totally. Well, it looks like our next battleground is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is actually a very interesting pick to me because the tribal toucans do love to run double tank comps and have a lot of aggression, a lot of engagements. And this map will allow for you to roam and do those engagements if they actually, you know, put their confidence out there. You're going to see this map. Teams will, of course, have a lot of small corridors to fight off, but you're going to be actually going for the minions in this map as the back line will drop gems. You'll take those gems and mercenary camps, you'll turn them in and get a lot of pressure. This map is all about pushing and really trying to rotate around the map. You see Illidan there actually turning in, and you'll see these huge web weavers that will push them out around the middle of the map and help push down infrastructure for your team.
Yep, absolutely. Of course, this map is it's basically a smaller map. So for 3 lanes in terms of the space that you have, it's really easy to jump from one lane to the next. And of course, you have 2 turn-in points for those gems. Those will be highly contested areas on that on the map. And I actually do believe we even have a heat map of kills from all of the previous rounds in Heroes of the Dorm on this map. So maybe we can take a quick look at that so we can see where you folks as viewers will be able to basically put your attention. Actually, it sounds like we do not have the heat map for this particular map, but that's okay.
If you saw it, you would see a whole bunch of red because this map is all about killing, man. You
right
have
in
so
the
many
middle.
just everywhere in the middle. To turn in. There's a lot of aggression going on. The maps are literally this close. Like you can walk between lanes and really just get into fights. So this is one of those battlegrounds you're gonna see a lot of takedowns, a lot of occurrence happening, unless the team is getting stomped and just absolutely scared. That's the only way you won't see any takedowns. Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, let's jump right into it. Let's take a look at the draft for these 2 teams. Let's see how they're going to execute strategy and how Miami plans to respond to this because, of course, this is their tournament life on the line right now. If they lose this game, they will be out. And it looks like we're catching this draft already started here. We see bans on Li Ming and Zagara. It looks like Miami going with that Li Ming ban again. They're afraid of that wizard, and you know what, she is a powerful damage dealer, so that makes sense. Zagara getting taken out by Illinois from Miami. It looks like they're just deciding they do not want to deal with the vision issues that Zagara presents on this map.
Yeah, she gets strong on this map, and they realize that Zagara is the main hero here. But yeah, we're mid-draft at the moment. Miami is picking up Thrall and Johanna. It looks like Thrall is one of their main picks. It's a comfort pick for that team, so we'll see how they handle him in this battleground. Johanna was pretty good here from King. I want to see a little bit more aggression from him, but not a bad warrior to pick up. On the other side, Illinois actually has Zul, Muradin, and Greymane. Zul is actually one of our newest additions to Heroes of the Storm, and this guy is insane on this battleground as he can push pretty darn handedly. Tassadar will be banned out here.
Yeah, interesting to see Tassadar banned out. Of course, he is such great potential for vision on a map like this where his vision could essentially cover 2 full lanes. He's a very powerful tool. But like you're saying about Zul, I mean, I think this might actually be his tournament debut
for Heroes of the Dorm.
yeah, that's right. This is his tournament debut for Heroes of the Dorm for sure.
He was not here in 2015. Here he is, a Spectral Scythe, Curse Strikes, Bone Prison, and Bone Armor. Now, do note, a majority of heroes have 3 abilities. He has 4, and that will be on his 1 key, and he can actually choose how that Bone Armor will actually function. Poison Nova and Skeletal Mage is very strong as well. See that Poison Nova, it puts out a lot of damage very quickly. Poor Vikings. Rip, rest in peace. As well as the, as you can see here, it just actually ticks down damage because it's actually a poison. It's not straight burst damage, so it can be healed out, but it is something that you should try to avoid if possible. So Zul, again, just great on this map because of his trait, the ability to, raise skeletons and help push down those lanes.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, backed by Murden and Grayman on the side of Illinois, that is going to be a strong matchup leading the gate. And of course, we're seeing Miami pick up Sylvanas and Rhaegar. We've heard about their Sylvanas play. They actually really like her.
They love Sylvanas. They love pushing with her. They love that black arrow and what it can do to infrastructure. And they actually have like a weird strategy where they will grip up as 5 and try to rush down a turret so get a little bit of an experience lead. Against a team like Illinois, though, I don't know if you want to try that. It's a little cheesy, and there's only like a 33% chance of it working, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, but maybe we'll see them go all in on that push strategy. But let's see how Illinois decides to respond to these particular picks. Of course, nice to see Rhaegar in a draft. Still an incredibly strong hero with his chain heals and his ability to put on the lightning shield. Such a solid hero. Of course, he does have that wolf form, which allows him to get around and move around very quickly. And of course, his initial attack out of wolf form is an auto crit. So just a little bit of cool poke burst damage as he jumps into melee range. And we do see Illinois responding with a Tyrande and a Vala. Interesting to see them still sticking with Vala as a ranged damage dealer. And of course, Tyrande, just a great hero. A nice stun in her kit, as well as the ability to provide vision and damage through her trait with Hunter's Mark. So solid pickups on them on the damage side of things. Oh wow, solo support too. Interesting to see that.
Yeah, you're going to see Illinois do a lot of assassin-based compositions. They enjoy damage like no other. And Tyrande, although she is a support, she is a pseudo-assassin as well. The Hunter's Mark and the ability to pick up focus attack and abilities that you would like to really break down people can be very, very strong as well. Now, Miami is currently looking at their 5th hero to pick up. I potentially either want another tank for them, because they do love running double tank, and it could be pretty strong here. You need someone that can engage a little bit easier than Johanna. I wouldn't mind ETC. York could be good too, as well with that Entomb. And then from there, they could also potentially go for a 3rd assassin as well and try to match damage. But I think double tank is the way to go for them. It is their main way of playing Heroes of the Storm, and they need to bring out their A game or they're going home. Yeah,
interesting to see Illinois leading with this Tyrande only support, this sort of half support scenario. I think that speaks a ton of confidence on their part, seeing that first game and just wanting to play aggressive, like you're saying. And I do believe Miami's best opportunity to counter that is to play with some meaty, tanky heroes that help position them up to get the damage that they can provide through heroes like Thrall and Sylvanas.
Kael'thas will be the final pick here for Miami. Interesting choice. This guy is pretty strong with wave clear, which you kind of need on this battleground. But Chain Bomb can be great as well against Murden and Zul, and with the skeletons popping up as well, you can kind of get those proc pretty quickly. So I like the choice. It's just a matter of he needs to make sure that he gets the engagements in at the right time, right? If you catch Kael'thas out of position anymore, his arcane barrier has been nerfed a little bit, so he can be melted immediately. And with heroes like Greymane and Tyrande, Luna Flare into Greymane Darkflight into jumping onto an opponent equals death.
That is going to be a scary issue for them for sure with a hero like Kael'thas, but man, in the right hands, Kael'thas can wreck.
Hey man, if it's a comfort pick it up and let's see how it works out for them. Now, looking at Illinois, I actually like their comp just a little bit more. I know you're mentioning that Toronto's the only solo support here, but the Shadowstalk should be enough. Greymane, Murden, and Zul kind of have their own self-sustain, so they can kind of work there. They have certain builds that can heal them up. Vala can tumble around, be pretty quick. The only one that Tyrande really has to focus on and make sure isn't picked off quickly is going to be Greymane here, so they can make it work.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting opportunity for them to prove that solo support can work, and like you said, that I think it's going to provide them a lot of aggressive play. So we'll see how Miami can hold on in this particular fight. Of course, their tournament life on the line, but if you're out there and you want to root for these teams, we want to hear it. Head on over to Twitter, use the hashtag Heroes of the Dorm, and vote for your team. Who do you think is going to win this game in Game 2? Is it hashtag Miami or hashtag Illinois? Let us know. We'll take a look at the poll results as we get into the game.
Kevin, I want to know who you're voting for. Who is it?
My heart is really with Miami. I want to see these guys get a game. I want to see them get back on their feet. I think that would just be so cool. I mean, like we said earlier, hearing them talk about their team, hearing about how cool it's been for them to get this far, I would love to see them at least get a game here on Illinois, even though I know Illinois seems to be the stronger team.
You know, my heart is with you there all the way. You know, I want them to win this too, but I'm going to go full Savage mode, dude.
All right, Savage mode.
Illinois is going to go 2-0 here. I'm voting for them. They're going to take this game. I really believe that they have the chops. It was on full display in game number 1. And honestly, you know, Miami, it seems a little rattled.
Yeah,
right?
they do.
And it's hard to shake that, especially if you don't have tournament experience. If you've never been on camera before. This is the first time they've ever been on camera. You know, talking to them, they were very humble about it. Hey, We're in the round of 64. We're very
Right.
happy that we're here. It's great to be on camera. It's an experience that we're all going to love and come back next year if there is another Heroes of the Dorm. So, you know, my heart's there for them, but my brain saying no, dude.
What do you think about this push strat sort of approach that it seems they're going to be taking here with Sylvanas?
Yeah,
talk to me a little bit about how they make the most of that, especially given the composition that Illinois is bringing to the table.
I mean, I like it. They do have tools available to them, but with the Zul first pick, it's kind of hard to say, hey, we're going to dominate this map with split pushing, right? We're going to get the full control here because Zul already has that on lock,
He's a
dude.
monster.
He's a monster when it comes to pushing.
Sure.
That's what he does so well. And then if they overextend at all, Bone Prison, right? He can lock somebody down very, very quickly. Sylvanas does have the advantage of range, right? She can actually get the auto techs in. She can drop down her arrows as well. Welling arrow can be a great tool, especially if you get on top of a Bala. That's a great game, by the way.
Sure.
If I was Illinois here, I would probably pick up Rain of Vengeance and just follow up on the engages from my Murd and Azul. But I don't know, man. Miami's going for something, and I'm glad they're trying it. They do have the split push. They do have the wave clear. After 13, they go into God mode. Right. They can get rid of minions quickly, but are they going to be too far behind at that point? That's always the question.
Yeah, and you know, it'll be interesting to see counterplay with that Bone Prison that you mentioned for Zul. That will be an interesting opportunity for lockdown. Of course, it's a pretty simple lockdown for the Zul players. Basically, target Bone Prison.
Yeah,
you're going to get a hero lock.
But
but we'll have to see the counterplay coming out of the Rhaegar on the Miami side. Like, can he get those cleanses in? Can he solve that particular issue for his team? I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, I do want to see how the Rhaegar player is going to play because, again, he cannot Ancestral himself anymore.
Yeah.
Which means he cannot heal himself. So he's going to have to play a little bit more reserved than normal. And I would actually probably not use my Ghost Wolf form to get Bison until Murding and engages, right? And then help out my Assassins getting jumped on, get that little damage in, put in the Lightning Shield, and then back up a little bit and use my Ancestral Healing whenever it's needed. Not as a thing that, like, hey, I'm dying here, here's a heal. You know?
All right. Well, let's jump into the game. We're ready to go here. This is game 2, University of Illinois versus Miami. Can Miami hold it off? Can they get the pull? Can they put the push strats in and get the win? I believe we will jump in and find out right now.
All right, this team right here on the very far left, Illinois, the Mad Banners is showing up here. Astrobros, Kikisho, Unlimited, Guts, and Legolas. Something to note, Kikisho is back. Jolie is actually subbing in once again for another player. I believe it was Legolas. King Knight, Lucky Pants, Toys, and Villain on the right side for the red team.
Absolutely, and here we go, guys. We're going to be seeing Toys on that Rhaegar, so we're going to be watching his play, seeing how he handles his positioning and gets that damage in. Of course, that's going to be a critical component here for Miami, so keep an eye on that hero. He is very fragile.
They're going
for it. Gets out of position, he's going to be in trouble.
They're going for
this is that
quick
push strat
turret
we heard about.
takedown. They want to grab the experience, but the thing is, Mad Banners are in a position to actually come in right behind them, and they're going to be focusing on Thrall and potentially Kael'thas to pick off. Here they go, charging in. We're going to see Unlimited go in for the engagement. Here goes that Bone Prison, and immediately Thrall is taken down.
Man, punished so early in the game.
Thrall.
I wonder how that makes them feel right now.
Dude, that hurts.
That hurts.
Because this is a strategy that they have success with.
Yeah.
When you do a strategy that you do often and that you usually succeed with and it doesn't work out for you and you don't have the experience to realize, hey, what do I do when I fall behind? It kind of hurts a lot. Now, they did get a little bit of damage on that turret.
Sure.
It can work out for them. Just be composed here, get to your lanes, keep soaking. You're going to see them rotate a lot, it looks like, and try and just kind of hold out between the mid and the top lane with their wave clear. And from here, I want to see if Miami's going to get a little more aggressive in lane. Thrall is a hero in that bottom lane that he can actually lane very, very well. He's one of my favorite heroes to lane with at home just because of how much of a bully he can be.
Right, but I mean, you saw that Zul on the bottom lane. I mean, 2 strokes of his scythe, he cleared out the minion wave and basically was like, you know what, I'm going to go handle the middle lane while I have a few seconds to spare. And here he goes back. We're going to watch him address that as well. So, I mean, Zul, great counter laner with Villain down there. I think they're going to be able to hold that bottom lane pretty strongly. And of course, we're seeing them pick up gems. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the gems that they hold as the number that's increasing. And then, of course, at the top, you can see the gems that they turn in, the 0 out of 50. So keep an eye on that as we watch them go for the objective through those turn-ins.
Guts is just really, I don't know, pulling the confidence from his guts here. He just throws out Storm Bolts left and right, no fear whatsoever, hitting a few minions. But, you know, that kind of player can be scary to play against because you can't read them.
Absolutely.
They're willing to throw out their Storm Bolts, so it's hard to strafe against them. Oh no, the Lunar Flare into the Hunter Mark, into Kikisho, Dark Flying, and going in there and using Warden Form to take out somebody. You can see how quickly a hero like Kael'thas can be dispatched, and that doesn't change throughout the entire game.
Yeah, that is going to be the situation this whole game, and that's why that Kael'thas really has to pay attention to his positioning, make sure that he's surrounded, at least has supports nearby, people who are aware of his fragility and basically have support for him. But man, there is Unlimited just wreaking havoc in the bottom lane. Villain trying to address it as much as he can so that he can get the experience as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to see Thrall try to deal with that, and we now have Johanna going in, the body blocks, but is it enough? Yes! Nice kill here from Miami. That's what I like to see, a little bit of a fighting back here. Lucky Pants keeping up with the aggression, King helping out, just pushing their opponents back, and we already have 16 gems, by the way. You can see in the bottom right corner turned in for the blue team. 38 on hand here for Miami. They're going to try and sneak those in whenever they can. A common strategy, you'll see a lot of teams just kind of group up and grab all 50 and turn them in after they win a team fight. But you do have to be careful with that type of strategy, because if you do get taken out, your gems will fall off that character.
Interesting to see, though, that Miami is a little bit ahead in the gem gathering game. So we'll probably see them going for that objective even before Illinois. Oh, man. Johanna there trying to hold it down in this initial skirmish. But there's that Kael'thas, dude. He has to be careful.
Gosh, he's scaring me so much. Now, there is good news. The reason why that fight was taken by Miami, even though it was a 4v5, is because Thrall was pushing in the bottom lane, getting just a small smidgen of experience back. They were a little bit behind, but now they're actually even in the top lane.
Yep, absolutely. Unlimited still doing work in that bottom lane. He's going to be holding that down all game. Villain trying to get his 18 coins turned in. Interesting to see Zool not try to contest that, just letting that go. I feel like Mad Banners could be addressing that a little bit better, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out what you want to do there. Zool's a pushing machine, right?
Sure.
So the idea is, okay, he can have a couple gems turn in if he knows it's happening, by the way. If it could be super quick when it happens.
Yeah.
So his better option, if he has no idea what's going on, just push. Just push and try and maybe deny experience.
All right, so we see Red Team, Tribal Toucans do have enough to call in those web weavers if they can get the rest of their gems turned in, but it looks like they're just trying to figure out how to continue to soak experience, continue to gather gems. Meanwhile, Illinois has the positioning advantage, and they're just going for their turn in, and it looks like they will have enough as well, and they are probably going to be able to access these web weavers first in this game.
Yeah, Miami does have a lot of poke, but they don't have much kill potential right now without Sylvanas being there. So they're going to go ahead and pull back. And even then, Sylvanas isn't really kill potential. They're not going to have that until 13. So Illinois will get the first turn in of the game. This isn't the worst thing possible. Sure. You know, the Living Bomb is helpful. Sylvanas with her W is able to help out as well. We do have a member being taken out, and King. Now, look at how deadly that Lunar Flare into Greymane combo is. That's half the health of Johanna. Johanna is one of the tankiest heroes in our game.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to take Johanna out of a fight, so seeing that much health that quickly taken away is definitely terrifying.
Well, getting her low, though, doesn't allow the Mad Banners to push in. And there's the Lunar Flare. Johanna taken out. King being a little bit aggressive. Although I'm not gonna be mad at him. He's actually being more aggressive than he was in game one. I want that.
Yeah.
I need that in this game. Just make sure to do it at scenarios where you're not gonna be picked off so quickly.
Yeah, and he needs the support of his team. You know, it's one thing to be a confident tank ready to wade in, but if you don't feel like your team is ready or got your back, it's really hard to have that confidence to do your role the appropriate way. That's why Heroes is such a team game. You can't just rely on yourself. You need to know that your team's got you. They've got you backed up. And of course, Mad Banner's pushing along with his Web Weaver in the top lane. It looks like they're going for this fort as much as possible. Very aggressive positioning here. And this Kael'thas is going to melt again. Oh, man.
That just feels bad, man. When you're playing Toys, or like Toys is playing Kael'thas, and that's a hero. When you're picked off, dude, you're just like, please, somebody help me.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. Help.
Right.
You have to hit that gravity lapse, which is your E button, but unfortunately, you did not have it available to them. Now, you're starting to see the results of getting these web weavers early and what you can do with them. We now have a 2-level lead here for Illinois. They were able to grab a wall in the middle, they grabbed a fort and a wall in the top lane, and they also got the wall in the bottom lane. That is so much experience.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for Miami here. They really need to just buckle down, focus on their experience gain, because they're clearly going to lose the race to level 10, which is going to hamstring them until they can get to level 10, so they really have to focus on that right now. And of course, Red Team just kind of scrambling, clearing out these minions as much as they can so that they can get back into an even-footed game with Illinois.
All right, well, just looking at the builds really quickly here, Thrall, Sylvanas, and Kael'thas are really going for these poke type of compositions. They're waiting to get to the mid game and be able to kind of whittle people down. And that's actually a pretty good pick here, because Taronda, as you were mentioning, is a solo support here. She doesn't have the best healing in the world. Shadowstalk will be her main healing source. Oh no, Shadowstalk now being popped, and we're going to have King hit with the Lunar Flare, but he did use the Iron Skin right away to prevent that from happening. And so Illinois, being 2 levels ahead, went for a kind of an all-in-ish play, and they realized the moment that King actually Iron Skinned that Lunar Flare that they couldn't go in for the fight. And I like it. You know, you're trying to make a play here. You're trying to put your opponent still on the back foot, and it worked. You see them playing so safely right now.
Yeah, nice call by them to not just go all the way in. They know that when they have these advantages, don't give it away.
Yeah.
Basically, play safe. When you're ahead in a game like this, there's no reason to take risks. Of course, if you're behind, like a team like Miami, sure, you need to calculate your risks, and you probably have to take some when you can. But right now, Miami's big goal is focusing on level 10 and not dying.
The double Lunar Flare. The Rain of Vengeance does miss, or that would have been a kill on Toys and potentially King as well. Lucky Pants trying to fight back. Kakisho going down to about half health. We do have Thrall starting to rotate in, but I think the best play here is just to hold back and again get to level 10 right now. Miami is at a severe disadvantage at the moment.
It's crazy to see King's health melting the way an Assassin's health would typically melt.
Dude, that's Hunter Mark, man.
It's so insane.
All Hunter Mark. It is so powerful, the extra percentage damage that you get from hitting that ability.
Right.
But we do have Miami finally getting their fight back. They're about to hit 10. They're just a smidgen away, a small smidgen, and they'll be good to go. And they also do have 92 gems, so they do have comeback mechanics available to them. Oh, looking at this. Kevin.
Yeah, man.
Illinois getting those votes.
75% in favor of Illinois, 25% for Miami, but Miami is not out of it yet. They have reached level 10. They are on at least a similar power footing with Illinois right now. And of course, Illinois going for their turn in right now, and it looks like they are going to be able to get this next wave.
I know our sound guy, Jose, is a little bit upset at that poll, man. He's all about Miami. Dude, he's up there cheering like crazy. He wants them to come back if possible. So, you know, maybe it'll happen there for Jose. I'm sure he was one of those votes. And we now in the bottom lane see some aggression occurring here. Villain is now going to get bone prisoned. This is the best play ever when you're playing against a bone prison. Run away. It's going to hit you no matter what, but get yourself into a position where if they dive you, you can potentially turn it around. And he did pick up, let's see here, he picked up Sundering. Yes, so he would have been able to fight back.
Right. Third fort being addressed by Miami, excuse me, by Illinois. Oh, but wow, what a great stun there on behalf of Miami for that fight, but it looks like they're still losing heroes.
Oh, this is
Kael'thas
so
drops, Thrall drops. Oh man, Joanna drops. They are just in a bad situation here. Lucky Pants getting
King,
taken
run
out.
away! You have all the gems. Oh gosh, does that look like? Oh,
go puppy, go.
Two things.
Get out of there.
Two things in that fight. One, I was so happy to see Miami get aggression, but the second part was like I was unhappy because they were getting pushed in by the web weavers. I love the aggression, but that was such poor timing, and it was so in the favor of Illinois that fight, the only way you win that is if you take someone out very quickly, and that happens if someone's out of position. Nobody on Illinois was out of position in a state that they could be taken out quickly.
Yeah, and of course, Illinois capitalizing, getting that whole front wall, which gives them even more experience as they are now basically almost a full 3 levels ahead of Miami. This is a significant, meaningful lead on their part.
Well, we do have Miami clearing up, and they are getting ever closer to that 13 where they can, of course, grab Chain Bomb, and that'll help them out a lot. Toys did get Gathering Power, although getting taken out often is preventing him from getting any stacks from that, but that will propel him forward if they do get 1 or 2 kills here to really put out a lot of damage. They just need to obtain a kill somehow.
Interesting to see Zool going for Skeletal Mages with his Heroic. I think that's going to be fun to see how they decide to use that. Typically, we'll see him going for Poison Nova for that extra damage, but interesting that they're just deciding to go for the positional play. Maybe they can lock off this team and just clean him up. I think they're feeling confident in their ability to do that.
The Skeletal Mages is a pick here because they realize their opponents are building all poke, right? So it's going to be very hard for him to actually straight up dive in there and get that Poison Nova off unless they make a huge mistake, and they don't really have the tools to kind of just dive in. So Skeletal Mages gives him the chance to get an engagement on range carries if he's able to hit someone like KT and Thrall, and then allow Guts to jump in and bring that Storm Bolt and really lock somebody down.
All right, Miami just trying to figure out how to just hold off the bleeding here, hold off the hemorrhaging, while Illinois just ready to continue to push. Johanna deciding to wade in, but, you know, every team just... Oh, there goes the stun, and Thrall, man.
The Sundering, though. He splits everyone down. Bala is pretty low on HP. Shadowstock has been popped. We do have Unlimited getting very low. One member will fall here for Illinois. Miami fighting back. The Luna Flare does hit King as well, but he's all right. King Knight chasing down, even with 60 gems. He's going full dog mode. Fights Astrobroth right away. Villain showing up. Can he hit the wolf here at the W? Is he going to hit it? He hits it. And now Lucky Pants will keep going in. Astrobroth will fall, and that's 2 Gathering Power stacks for Toys, and that was before 13, Kevin.
Man, this is exactly what they need. Wow, what a way to turn it around, especially with the power level difference for Miami. Man, this is exactly what they need to hang in this game. It's good for the morale, obviously good for their experience. When they're behind, they get increased experience on those hero kills, and they get the turn in. This is the wave they need to ride. They have to capitalize.
And now they get 13. They still have their keeps. Good news here for Miami. They're only 1 level behind, but it doesn't really matter too much until they get to level 16. Now they need to group up and get a fort here. I want to see them take advantage of that fight. And I also want to see if their confidence has spiked, because that was a good fight.
That was good, man. I definitely didn't even expect it out of them. They really pulled it out. So super kudos to them. And right now they're doing the right thing. They're going to push with these web weavers and try to get some structural damage done on behalf of their team and getting experience all along the way.
All right, so we're going to play around these chokes here. You're going to see Illinois play behind these turrets. You never want to walk into the middle of these turrets here when you're playing against a Kael'thas, because that chain bomb can spread very, very quickly. Astrobroth is trying to help out here with helping defend this in the middle, but in the top lane, we do see Miami pushing in very, very heavily here. They have the entire minion wave available to them, and it looks like they're actually going to retreat.
Interesting. Interesting that they're going to retreat. I think, you know, they clearly got the experience out of those towers, but maybe realizing they want to play it a little bit safe here, not fully commit, but man, maybe they're going for the fight.
Yeah, they're trying to push in.
Wow, they baited out Skeleton Mages. That's cool.
Yeah, they wanted to get a few abilities out, it looks like. I think that could have been done with Johanna just posturing the bottom left, but hey, same result happened here. You're going to see them now start to retreat because they have no more web weavers, and unfortunately, they didn't get the advantage of that out they wanted. I would have loved to see a fort.
They still have their heroics up, so they are in an advantage. You know, Mad Banners have burned 2 of their heroics, so they could take a team fight and
No,
beat
boys.
the situation here. Guts
Duke
going for it. Oh, man. Kael'thas, though, dropping so fast. They couldn't get the Ancestral off, but what a
The
stun!
Sundering hits 4 people, and the Chain Bomb did go off before he died, so that blew up on 3 people. Guts in trouble, low on HP. He has 28 gems. Will be able to start running away, though the King Knight jumps in. Bark takes down his opponent, and now Fort in trouble.
Tim, what a fantastic sundering from that throw. I can't believe it. That 4-man stun was absolutely what they needed, especially losing Kael'thas so early in that fight. That was the only way they could have pulled that out. So
Yeah.
that was a clutch save on their part.
The 2 major players in that entire fight was Thrall and Kael'thas. Even though Kael'thas did get taken down, and Rhaegar as well.
At least got
Kael'thas did get the chain bombs off,
Yep.
which was the major damage. Thrall used a Sundering, which grouped everyone up for the chain bomb to explode on a few people, and then Rhaegar actually got off the cleanse that allowed Kael'thas to do that damage.
Yeah.
So nice play by that team right there. And now Miami about to hit 16. I'm assuming they're going to pick up Cold Embrace here, which will allow for the entire team, if they're hit by the W by Lucky Pants, will actually put a lot of amplified damage on the entire team here, which makes KT's Chain Bomb better, which makes Thrall's Chain Lightning better. All this poke damage suddenly starts to really hurt people.
Man, so cool to see Miami climbing back into this game. And right now, like you're saying, they're entering a power spike for their team that's going to be working so well in their favor right now.
Sylvanas did get Cold Embrace. I love the build it's working out here. We're going to see more aggression happening from Miami, and they are really starting to power up here. They're actually on the same levels of Illinois. Illinois now starting to look a little scared.
Yeah, I love it. So cool to see how quickly these games can turn around, and Miami needs this as well. And, you know, rotating to the top, realizing that Illinois is in the lower lane, they're trying to figure out how to go ahead and get some of these keeps down, get more experience, and again, allow their minions to push even further into Illinois' territory.
Taking what they can and retreating. Remember, their entire job here is wanting to protect Toys. Toys did get taken down, so he lost his Gathering Power stacks.
Right.
But you know, keeping him alive and allowing those Gathering Power stacks to manifest really allows for the team to put out a hefty amount of damage with that Cold Embrace. So watch for them to start really protecting that KT player.
And look at this. Miami's got him on the back foot. It looks like they're... Oh, I thought they were going to... Oh, no. 30 more seconds. 10 more seconds, actually, until the next spawn for the Web Weavers. But we're going to be seeing them trying to capitalize again as they're just now getting the Web Weavers cleaned up from the previous wave. So if they can get another wave going for them on the back end of this one, that will be great. But there are still a few gems from being able to secure that.
I do feel like there is a few missed opportunities here from Miami. I think they could have actually started to put a little bit more damage on that fort. And all they have to do to make sure they secure that damage without being taken down is put Johanna in an area where she can see the flank happening.
Right.
But they're just rotating a little bit too much, and fine. Safe is totally cool. They should be aware that they can actually do a few things here and there that actually allow them to put themselves into a lead. Now, we do see
King
running in.
trying to prevent those turn-ins, and he does. Wow, nice cleanse there on
Good
King.
cleanse.
Good move by Rhaegar. He is taking
Thundering.
damage, but wow, look at that ancestral healing, keeping them so much damage from the Rain of Vengeance. But let's see, looks like Miami's hanging in there and able to kind of stay in this fight. They do have them on the back foot, and their team is totally split up.
King
Mad
Knight
Banners.
is really eating the heals in that are important. King is now chasing here. Kakisho is now slowed down by the totem. Rhaegar being an absolute beast here. 2 members falling. That's 2 more stacks for Kael'thas, and they actually did get a few gems killed off as well. We did see a turn from Illinois. They got 47 gems in, but now there is a potential here for Miami to grab a boss. I would recommend being a little bit careful here, as Martin can be very disruptible. Tyrande can do a lot here as well. But
This is a risky move on their part, I will say. I mean, it's a bold move to try to take advantage of the fact that they are 2 heroes up on their opponents right now, but even so, it could get stopped. But it looks like they're going to go for the turn-in. That makes sense for Illinois. That's not a bad response.
Yeah, that was a safer play. They went in and turned on the bottom, and this gives them Web Weavers, which helps them deal with this boss. However, this boss is at 16 minutes. It does chunk pretty nicely here. If I'm the Tribal Toucans, I would probably be pushing with this a little bit here, just to give it a little bit of support and make sure it gets to the infrastructure, and then pull back and deal with the Web Weavers.
Yeah, I feel like they could potentially be utilizing their Sylvanas a bit more with some of that push stuff right now. But yeah, right now they're getting free damage on this boss, which is basically shortening its effect on this push. So unfortunate for that. But red team, I don't even know what they're doing. It looks like they're
Miami looks a little undecided here, which is fine. It's kind of a weird scenario.
Sure.
You need to be very decisive here. Do I deal with the web weavers and let the boss push, or do I just go in for a fight? The problem is if you go in for a fight and you lose it, these web weavers start pushing in and you suddenly have keep damage.
Yeah.
So the better play is to pull back, move towards 20, soak all this wonderful experience.
Right, totally.
And they're actually ahead, Kevin.
It's crazy.
I love it.
Dude, they were 3 levels behind.
Yeah, they
Like
were.
that shows you the power of comeback mechanics, especially for team fights. When you take out heroes and you're under that power surge, like when they took out that team fight in level 13, that was amazing. Actually, I think they were level 12 when they had that team fight. That worked to their advantage so much, gave them the leg up, and they're now back in this game. And right now, they're just trying to hold off these web weavers.
Oh no! King Knight in trouble, will be able to pull back just a 90. The Sundering
That
into the
was
chain
huge!
bomb. 2 members get taken out pretty quickly.
great
Only
rid of
1
Vengeance,
falls, but
though.
2 do fall low in HP. And you're right, we see a lot of damage here on Miami. Miami trying to chase, but they do not have the chase potential really on them here unless Johanna's up close and personal. But still, you saw that Sundering and a chain bomb combo. It hurts.
It, like, when that Sundering hits, you almost feel the Mad Banners, like, their eyes widening, like they're looking and staring into an 18-wheeler that's charging them in the face.
Yeah.
And they just decide to retreat, like, you know, immediately.
So here's a pattern that's happening and why this Sundering chain bomb combo is working so much. You see a Lunar Flare or a Stormbolt hit, and you see Illinois automatically as a group tunnel vision.
They freak.
They go out ham on
Yeah.
whoever is Lunar Flared, right? And as soon as that happens, they group up naturally because you're all right-clicking one target. They need to make sure the next time that they hit a Lunar Flare or a Stormbolt, they spread out just enough to where they don't get hit that hard by a Sundering because they need to survive through that combo. And if they do, they can win a team fight.
Yeah, that is a really great point, Tim. And of course, King and crew cleaning up these minions in the middle lane, while web weavers are now pushing in their favor as well. Wow. Miami, amazing turnaround in this game. They are now a level up, almost actually 2 levels up on their opponents, heading towards level 20. And you know what? That power surge is almost equally as important as the level 10 one. So they're going to be very, very confident going into this late game.
You know, I really want to start seeing some bush strats here from Illinois.
Yeah.
Fog. You jump in the fog and you literally wait for your opponent to move. We're seeing a lot of rotations from Miami. They constantly are keep moving, and they're doing it in a safe zone. So I would do my best here to get a lane pushed out and then find some fog to sit in and then try and jump on them really quickly and take them out before they do get that combo off.
Interesting to see Miami sort of pulling back here right now. They don't quite know. Now they know.
They want
where their
20.
team was. Yeah, they want 20.
That's all they care about right now. We need to get that big 2-0. Big 2-0 will give us a huge storm power ability, which will, of course, allow us to fight. And then they need to chase down a fight. Illinois does have some pretty solid disengages, though. Valo went multi-shot build, which will allow for slows to hit multiple targets, which will slow them down from actually chasing them down. So we should see her really help out with those disengage.
Yep, and here they go. Now they have hit level 20, so they're very confident. Going for the push with this top lane web weaver, getting these turrets, and of course Sylvanas as well, taking out the tower damage. It's all working very well right now for Miami, and they're going in for this keep kill. Are they going to go all the way? Yes, King is in.
Yeah.
He's setting up positioning, getting the block out here. A nice condemn, pulling them together. Let's see if they can get it, man.
King really trying to force
King, he needs the heal.
in the middle. There's the Ancestral, though. Nice. There it is. The Invincible was great.
Yeah,
the Chain Bomb does hit 1 member. Guts needs to spread out. He just spread it to a 4 here, but the Rain of Vengeance hits 3 members. There's only 4 people here, though. Greymane now starting to show up, wants to help out on this fight. Can Miami retreat? Shadowstock has been popped, which will pop a healing in a couple seconds here. We do see Illinois charging in. Toys in trouble. 1 member does fall. We have Zul coming in for a flank in the bottom right, by the way. He's going to go straight for Villain, and watch out for Lucky Pants as well. The root does go down. He will bolt away, but he now has members pinned into the
totally
corner.
Cornered. This is exactly what Mad Banners needed. They have been wresting control back. King Knight on Fort. Luckily, man, survives 2 Lunar Flares. Unbelievable on his part, just juking those to try to save his life. But yeah, he's totally wasting time. This is actually, maybe they shouldn't even be chasing him right now.
Yeah, I would give up and go push the middle. But this is a good play here by King Knight. Even if he dies, the amount of time he's wasted has been, what, 13, 14 seconds? Which has given his team now a, 28-second cooldown before they spawn up. They might be able to save a keep here.
Yeah, man, this is crazy. Like, what a huge turnaround right now as we see Illinois basically with a full, 20 seconds of time basically to do whatever they want. They're going to get a keep, and maybe Thrall can hold them off. We'll see. His Sundering is almost up in 5 more seconds.
Dude, the fight there really quickly by Man Banners was so strong because they realized that Miami...
Wow, they're going core.
Yeah, they're going for it. I don't know if they're going to try and kill it. They can't,
that's a risk.
actually, with
Chain
Bomb being there.
That's too risky.
The fight for Illinois was so strong there because they realized that Miami, having a level advantage, wanted to get an engage, and they were so thirsty for it. They were straight up diving into a keep. I think we saw Johanna almost take half health just from the fort alone and poke, which allowed for Mad Banners to set up, get their own 20, and then waste important cooldowns and go for the engage.
And you know,
nice patience.
We talked about positioning around Chain Bomb on behalf of Illinois and needing to address that, but in the Sundering. But the same thing with Rain of Vengeance. Oh wow, look at that. King wading in deep, getting the Phoenix out by Toys. They're trying to get damage, got him on the back foot, but at least they got the boss, held the boss off, I guess. But that is a risky play by them too. They don't even have their full team together. Rhaegar just now getting in the fight, so they waded in without their support. I think that's a little bit of a risk.
I think Illinois really wanted to actually fight that. They were trying to maybe go for a bait, but Unlimited took so much damage because Zul was being slammed into the boss by the actual sandstorm that pushes him put us around. It just got into a weird scenario where Zul was just kind of locked in there, and they just had to retreat. That was really, really scary. An opportunity that Miami, if you know, a Blessed Shield came out or something, could really have taken an opportunity on.
Wow, it looked like Miami was potentially, they were just checking for that boss, making sure that Illinois was not still trying to go for it. And Illinois, though, deciding to turn for these bruisers to get them pushing for them. And right now we do see the opportunity for, I know Illinois still doesn't quite have enough gems to get a turn in, and neither does Miami as well, but they're going to go ahead and pull their bruisers as well as we move further into this late game. But like I was saying, that positional play around Rain of Vengeance, Miami has to be careful. That actually is what really turned the tide for Illinois in that previous team fight, which allowed them to get back in this game. Yep. They just need to be careful. That was a second team fight in a row where Rain of Vengeance just was wrecking them.
Yeah, it's a linear skill shot that will really just lock down a lot of targets. And yeah, you're right, Kevin. You got to watch out for those. Unfortunately, they have Thrall, Johanna, and Rhaegar that are in melee. They do kind of just dive on a target too, just like we saw Illinois doing earlier. So it's kind of a case for both teams. They have to be a little bit careful and be aware of those cooldowns that can be so punishing.
Wow, Illinois going for it. Looking at the boss, they do know that Miami is in the bottom lane, but do they have the time to get this? And is this worth? Interesting choice by their part.
Miami needs to go now if they think that they're at the boss. The problem is Illinois has been bouncing around a lot and not really showing themselves, so it's hard to guess when they're at the boss. We do have Johanna going in, though. She's going to need to cleanse. This is the moment right
King
now.
wades in. He's jumping in. Let's see how they're going to hold this off. He's getting on the plate.
The Lunar Fire misses.
Wow.
It misses. The Sundering is going to be important here. Watch out for Astrobroth in trouble. There's the Sundering.
He does have his shield, so King is fine. He does get the Ancestral Heal off. This is looking great for Miami.
Kakisho in trouble. He does go down. We have Joel in trouble as well. Will bolt away. Guts going in, trying to hold that position. The totem pole is enough. Guts should be able to drop out, but the boss does go to Miami.
Wow.
This is a 24-minute boss. Miami needs to group up and carry this to the keep, and they could potentially take the win.
Yeah, this could be the kill right here for Miami. And man, what a chance for them to capitalize. Go ahead, get in there and get on the court as quickly as you can. You have about 35 seconds right now before another hero spawns. They have a huge advantage.
King pushing in. They need to get over here. And as soon as that ball starts welting on that core, they need to decide to take a team fight and take someone out quickly or start putting their damage on the
court. Go for that ball. Ball is out of position a little bit.
Joel's in trouble. There goes a gravity lapse. We'll pick up Zul. Zul will get away. Start hitting the core. They need to start taking it out. Here we go. Members going in. Thrall using that huge hammer. Take out whoever they can. Playing around that boss because of the AoE stun.
Get on the other side.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
They're going in, and now it looks like Mad Banners has to make a play here. They're going straight for Lucky Pants. Toys in trouble. The cleanse is nice, but this is going to be game. Miami has found their composure and actually scored a win there. The series is now tied at 1-1, Kevin.
Man, I'm stoked!
So stoked.
This is what we wanted, dude. Miami coming back into this game. Finally, you know, they look totally shaken in the early game. I had no idea they were going to bring it back.
I loved the poke comp. I loved the Culprit embrace there. I love the Sundering and Chain Bomb like synergy. Yeah. They did such a good job there. You can see why they love Thrall so much. They have the execution down, man. That was fun to watch.
So interesting, and it was all that underpowered team fight that they took.
Yeah.
That was impressive, man. They basically took a team fight where they weren't even on equal power tier with their opponents, and that just gave them such a boost.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It feels like the Mad Banners around that fight in particular that you're talking about just got a little bit too confident. Now, this was the biggest moment in the game. Both teams are vying for this boss. This boss wins the game, right? Whoever gets this will win it. You see King just stood there. The rest of his teammates, by the way, in the bottom right were so patient. They dodged the Lunar Flare. Rhaegar was on point with his cleanse and his Ancestral Healing. Taking out 2 members was pivotal, and you saw them just push down the lane and win. Nice job, Miami. Kudos to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job. They hang in on this fight. We are now 1-1. Illinois got a game. Miami's got a game, and we're going to the ring match, the rubber match, I guess. guess, as we say, the best of 3, and we are going to be back for that. So super cool. Of course, if you want to follow all the action, you want to see these other games that we are unfortunately not able to cast, take a look at the bracket over on heroesofthestorm.com. You're going to be able to follow everything that's going down there, and of course, get all the information you need about the broadcast schedule over the course of this month and how to participate in the live event in Seattle, Washington. It's going to be a very fun month of collegiate esports gaming. You're going to want to stick with us the whole time. Of course, hang in there. We're going to be back for this 3rd game. Tim and I, we're excited. We're glad you're here with us. We'll see you soon. Hello and welcome back to Here's the Dorm 2016. I'm Cloaken, joined by Trikslyr. We just got out of an incredible game to University of Illinois versus Miami. That Miami's hanging in there, man. I did not expect it. They really pulled that game back. It looked like an absolute decimation. It was following in the footsteps of game 1.
Yeah.
But Miami, man, secured that great team kill in the middle of the game and just brought it back.
They did what they said to us when we talked to them last week. They're all about composure. They know what they can do, and they know what to play well. And 2 players in particular, man, that I want to call out in that game was King Knight and Villain. Those were the Thrall and Rhaegar players. Thrall, when it came to Sundering, he was just on point, right? His team followed up. All Toys had to do with that situation, drop a chain bomb. Yep. That's all he had to do, and he would say, you know what, it's all in your hands, man. You hit the Sundering, and we win this fight. So nice job here, 1 to King Knight. Beautiful play. He actually played the Rhaegar. He was so strong with his preemptive cleanses, and his heals were great, too. And I love how King had so much confidence in King Knight. You can kind of see their duo and how they work together. Because in the last fight around that boss, King just stood there. He's like, I'm going to put all faith in you, Rhaegar. Yeah. And Rhaegar walked up, dropped that Ancestor Healing, made sure to hit the cleanse. Beautiful, done. And then, of course, the other player as well, Villain, who was playing Thrall. Such great play by him. Just really following up, make sure to hit those pokes in. And then when he had to go ham, he went ham. He hit the wonderful Frostwolf. And, of course, he helped out with the damage when needed. Yeah, absolutely. Great game on behalf of Miami there with Illinois. And you know what? This is it. This is what we want to see, man. Yeah. 3 game matches where we get to see them go all the way. This is what it's all about, man. The competition, people going blows on blows, you know, working out different strategies, having fun, and working together, dude. I love it, and I hope in Game 3 we just get as much of an epic game as possible. I'm okay with either of these teams moving forward now. Yep, absolutely. And, of course, this battleground, we're going to be playing on Infernal Shrines. The first time we've looked at this game, this particular battleground in Here's the Dorm. So let's take a quick look at this map and what all makes it tick. Of course, this is taking place in our Diablo universe with the cosmic battle between heaven and hell, but it's all about these shrines. They spawn these skeletal minions, and you want to get to 40. You want to get 40 kills under your belt in order to access that objective. Of course, mercenary camps, again, like we see on all of our battlegrounds, that will work for you, deal a lot of damage to opposing enemy structures. But of course, it's all about these shrines like I talked about. You have an opportunity to spawn a Punisher, which you can see here, which is a huge hero wrecking force as well as a fortification wrecking force. This guy will basically go after fortifications like we've seen other bosses do in these games, but also enemy heroes. So you have to be paying attention when you get into a situation where in a team fight around one of these guys, he's going to be hunting you and he's going to be coming after you, stunning you, locking you down, and dealing a ton of damage while also carrying basically one of these Diablo affixes, Frost, Mortar, Arcane damage. All the damage, man. It's total mayhem. Lots of very cool stuff going on with these Punishers, so we're going to be seeing teams fighting over those. The map objective is very unique compared to the other ones, because, again, a lot of the battlegrounds all go for infrastructure, right? They're taking down forts, taking down keeps, they're going straight for the objective and PvE style, right? This is a PvP style, so you kind of have to draft around that, too. You need to get someone that's kind of tanky, very robust, that can take those hits, you know, and bait it into your forts and to kind of take it down really quickly with your team, so. Yeah, well, this just in, actually, right now, Tim, it looks like this particular battleground is going to be on Dragonshire. Oh, really? They just made a change. So unfortunately, sorry about that. We had such a great intro for Infernal Shrines, but keep that in your head because we're going to be back on that map, sure, at some point. But of course, Dragonshire is another one of our maps, a very interesting, large battleground. We'll go ahead and take a look at this one since we kind of gave you the pump fake on Infernal Shrines. Yeah, this is Dragonshire, which is a 3-lane map as well. In the middle, you saw that big Dragon Knight statue. Teams will go head-to-head on it, and of course, there's a whole bunch of mercenaries. But the main story is at the north and the south of this battleground. You see these mercenaries that they can grab, but this is the north shrine. There's also one at the south. If you grab the sun and the moon, it will unlock the Dragon Knight. This is actually player controlled. You see the fire there, very good for dealing with minions, but you just want to go straight for the forts here. It's very robust. It does a lot of damage, and teams will have to deal with that. Eventually, teams will use the Dragon Knight most likely to go straight for the core.
And of course, we do have a statistical analysis of kills and deaths that have occurred on this battleground over the course of Heroes of the Dorm to this point. So take a look at that. Of course, this makes great sense. You're seeing these huge circles of encounters happening here in the bottom and the middle of the map. That's where the Dragon Knight spawns right here. And of course, down here is one of our shrines in particular.
And the reason why you see those huge blobs, Kevin, are because of these right here, these minion mercenary camps. There's 3 that are in the bottom lane there. So you want to have full control of it. So you're going to see teams rotating between the middle and the bottom lane because it's a little more heavy-handed in that area. You want to make sure that they don't get those mercenaries because it's experience and that's pressure, things that you don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. So very interesting battleground, and of course one where we're going to see that whole buzzword that we talk about a lot, rotations, come into play. How well will these teams be able to split up their resources to take control of the top and bottom shrine, which will allow them access to the Dragon Knight, which spawns in the middle. So this is one of these maps that really tests your team's ability to communicate, coordinate together, know where your opponents are locationally on the battleground, and how to take most advantage of it.
Yeah, it's a battleground that Illinois chose because it does force Miami to spread out, right? We've been seeing them game 1 and game number 2. When it gets to mid-game, they just group. They group and they run together. They can't do this on the battleground or they will lose right away. It will split them up and it will force them into scenarios that they might not be comfortable with.
Well, let's jump into it. Let's take a look at the draft here for these two teams as we head into Dragonshire. Of course, Illinois bans are already underway. Illinois has banned out Zool, and of course, Miami has banned out Zagara. Those are our first 2 bans. Zagara is such a powerful hero on this battleground, and again, we still have the incorrect graphic there. It says Infernal Shrines, but we are, in fact, going to be on Dragonshire, so keep that in mind as we're looking at these hero picks, because obviously the battleground dictates strategy entirely, how you're going to build your hero composition to address the objectives on these maps.
Yeah, Zool and Zagara are both heroes that you don't want to deal with in the top lane. They're heavily uncontested when it comes to actually owning that lane, especially with Zagara getting her creep everywhere and really seeing when people are coming to gank up there. The transition from mid lane to top lane is very telegraphed. So a pretty solid ban for both teams here. Now, the question for me is Illinois going to take away Thrall from Miami?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Thrall, obviously known as a very, very strong presence in lane, so that makes sense. You really do want to have a strong top lane in a map like Dragonshire. So I would imagine we'd see some strong prioritization around Thrall in this battleground. Of course, other heroes that we might see picked early potentially could be those with global presence. Heroes like Falstad, and also strong tanks. We're going to be seeing some warriors here that will help lead these initiations for these teams.
Yeah, one of the strong heroes that Miami kind of has underneath their pockets, right, is Raynor and KT. We saw KT in the last game. Now, I'm wondering if they're going to bring out Raynor. They very much love the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. They did talk about that.
Yeah, of an Inspire comp with stitches. You get a hook, you hit Inspire, and everyone right-clicks that person, right? So it's probably one of their favorites to pick up here. So we'll see if Miami will be going that route. Illinois, again, I wouldn't mind them picking up Thrall here. I know that Kikisho has a very strong Thrall as well. But the idea is you just get away from that Sun Ring, that comfort pick from Villain. Because Villain, although very experienced in a lot of games in Heroes of Storm, he's not quite as experienced with every single hero. So you take that away from him and you take away a power source, really, from Miami. Yeah,
it'll be curious as well to see if Lucky Pants on Sylvanas will be a strategy that they return to. Folks, we are having a little bit of issues with the draft right now. So we're going to come out and talk a little bit about these teams as we're heading into this game. But like I was saying, we know that Lucky Pants favors Sylvanas. We saw the Sylvanas pulled into Tomb of the Spider Queen last time. Did it work to their favor? Potentially. Obviously, in the late game, her boosted damage on behalf of the entire team had a significant effect. But interesting potential choice for them as well to go a pushing strat if they choose.
Yeah, Lucky Pants. Sylvanas, he played very, very well there. Especially against Zool, there were a couple scenarios where Zool actually put a Bone Prison on top of Sylvanas, and she would just EO away. So Lucky Pants, again, he has a couple of heroes under him that he could play. Zagara and Sylvanas are probably his strongest heroes. Zagara just banning out makes Lucky Pants pick Sylvanas. So that could be a hero that could be taken away. However, Sylvanas isn't the greatest on this battleground. She can get some pushing going on, but the lanes are pretty easy to gank. So even with her ability to kind of E away and really escape, it's not as powerful as a lot of other escapes. So I prefer to maybe see like a false set pick from her or something, or from him, but we'll see.
All right, well, let's jump back to the draft. I think we got things all addressed in the draft right now, so let's take a look again at these heroes. We're back where we were. Zool banned out by Illinois. Miami banned out Zagara. And let's see who we get here on these first picks. Again, do not look at that Infernal Shrines. We will be on Dragonshire. Apologize for the confusion there around that battleground, but
just to be selfish, I want Artanis, man.
Dude, let's see it.
Get some Artanis in there. He's one of my favorite heroes in the game. I really enjoy his ability to duel on this map. He's one of the best duelists when it comes to warriors. He can actually take on a lot of assassins by himself if need be, if you're hitting your skill shots, and of course getting in there and working in your auto attacks. So he's a hero that I actually love a lot on this battleground, but then again, I'm super biased towards him because he's legit, man.
Hard not to love that guy. The Hierarchy is such a great leader. Love to see him play it in Heroes of the Storm. Of course, other heroes we're likely going to see on this map, of course, Murden is such a strong go-to hero in general for these team comps, but looks like we're getting Li Ming as a first choice for Miami. Interesting that we had seen them banning her out in the previous 2 games. Now we see them prioritizing her as a hero for this pick, and of course, we know that Villain loves to play the damage dealers, loves to play the assassins, and of course, Li Ming, one of our newer heroes in Heroes of the Storm, just such a high-intensity hero, all of it driven by critical mass, which is her trait. Anytime she gets a takedown of an enemy hero, all of her cooldowns reset. That includes her heroic abilities, which makes her a total terror, as Disintegrate can deal significant damage to multiple opponents.
I kind of feel like this hero being picked here for Miami is just trying to take it away from Illinois.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kisho is so powerful on this hero. Li Ming is a hero that is very, very good at picking apart teams that spread out, or that don't spread out, and don't understand when they're losing a team fight, because if you start losing a team fight against Li Ming and she's able to get those resets, you're going to lose it hard. You'll lose 4 to 5 heroes. Good teams will understand, okay, we're about to lose a hero, we should pull back and watch out for those abilities coming our way. Falstad and Thrall will be the pickup. Illinois looks like they want to pull Thrall away from Miami. Thrall's great against Li Ming as well. He can get some nice Q poke in there, and then if he ever sees a teleport that's a little bit incorrect, he can pop out a Sundering, and most of the time Li Ming with the low health pool will be taken out quickly.
Viewers at home, my friends, please, bear with us. You're going to love this. You're going to love this.
What is it, Kevin?
I think it's so important that you note that we will, in fact, be playing on Infernal Shrine.
Perfect. We introduced you to 2 maps, but you're only going to see 1. That's value. That's what we call it here. So, yep, Infernal Shrines. Interesting then. I feel like Li Ming is actually very hard to pull off on Infernal Shrine.
Yeah, it totally changes everything again. And again, our apologies. We're obviously dealing with the information that we're getting as we're moving through this. And of course, we appreciate you riding along with us on that journey. That's what we're here for, Tim.
Totally.
You know, sometimes it's a bumpy ride, but we're all in it together.
We're in it, man. It's all about the climb.
Yeah, it's all about the climb.
All about the climb. Well, we got Sonya and Thrall as the pickups here for Miami. Sonya, with her Whirlwind ability, can really do a lot of clearing on those minions.
Yeah.
Again, you want to get a total of 40 of them each time that the shrines do spawn, and Sonya will help out with that endeavor as much as possible. Now, Rhaegar, again, we saw our players play him in last game. Miami is very solid on this hero, and it doesn't seem like the nerf really affected his playstyle at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a great healer as well to choose for those encounters around the shrine. Sometimes these shrine battles can be really drawn out, and Rhaegar is such a great multi-hero healer with his chain heal. So really smart opportunity by them to prioritize him. Chain heal, of course, his main primary source of healing. And then, of course, anytime a hero is dropped, it's significantly in healing. Ancestral healing is such a huge, it's the largest heal in the game right now, and deals a huge portion of hit points back to whoever he's casting it on.
And you always have the crazy potential of Bloodlust, his other heroic.
Could happen, man.
It could happen. It hardly happens, but it could happen.
There's a Jake Kulinski out there praying that it will happen. So who knows? It could happen on this game. You just never know.
So Illinois is actually pretty solid against the picks already. They have disengaged in case they need it against Sonya. They can get away from Li Ming with the Thrall Sundering, and then of course Falstad's Money Gust. So here they're probably going to pick up a warrior and probably hold off a healer on their own. They don't really need to pick up one with Rhaegar already being chosen here.
Yeah, interesting. We'll see exactly how they decide to prioritize this. I do expect Illinois to be looking for heroes that will sustain. Obviously, they're going to want to pick up their healer at some point, but I don't know. A logical choice for that is probably going to either be Karazim or Uther. I think we'll see how they decide to go that route. Maybe they go for the Malfurion, but we don't see it as often.
Yeah. Ooh, Johanna ban. Nice. Okay, so Johanna is a hero that we've seen King kind of dominating on, right? Like, that's his hero to go to just because he's able to really just kind of walk in any fight and then also walk away because she's so robust. And we do know that Miami does enjoy running double tanks, so taking away Johanna is actually a solid effort. Now, Leoric is still available here for King if he would like to go that route. He also does love to play a Nubrak, and a Nubrak and Sonya can go together pretty decently. It's all about hitting those cocoons if you have the opportunity to, but we'll see if he'll go that route. Miami will need to land a ban here.
Yeah, that's such a strong ban by Illinois as well, not just because of the comfort pick from King, but also Johanna, just such a powerful force on these shrines. Her Condemn just pulling minions in, allowing for her team to basically just clean them up. So she vacuums them into a single point, and then you can just sort of clear them out quickly. But Miami going for the ban on Tassadar. We've seen that multiple times.
Miami does not like playing against Tassadar.
Yeah, interesting.
And there is some merit to that. A Tassadar Force Wall into a Mighty Gus can group people up like crazy. You can also just kind of lock down your opponents that are starting to retreat, with Tassadar being able to get in there and really land those Force Walls. And we do have a player on Illinois that plays that very, very well. So Legolas, I believe, does play Tassadar. So
yeah,
nice ban.
They clearly don't like to play against it, probably because they obviously know how powerful he can be. Such a versatile hero, not just with his ability to provide shields, but like you said,
and Miami
vision and control.
Kind of values the ability to see very, very well. They love vision, and you can tell that with Shadow Sucker, they take away vision. So just this might be a personal thing for Miami. They just feel like, you know what, Tassadar gives vision. That's kind of good. We'll stay away from that. Murden will be the pickup here for Illinois. Nice engage. Stormbolt, we saw great Murden play from Guts, and it looks like he's comfortable on that hero.
Yeah, strong pick. Obviously, with the stuns, the ability to jump in with Dwarf Toss, get in and out of battle. He can even save himself, and of course, huge heroics with Avatar. We have been seeing more Haymaker play. Of course, Haymaker is such a really fun heroic. The ability to knock back an enemy here a significant distance. You have a little bit more control. You know, you can affect the battlefield that way. But Avatar is the heroic we tend to see, just giving Murden, who's already a very, very tanky hero with a huge hit point pool, even more ability to sustain himself in fight with just beasting out in the middle of those team fights.
Yeah, I would love to see some Haymaker here, especially against Sonya, or even knocking Rhaegar into your team, because now Rhaegar can't heal himself with Ancestral Healing, so you can get him really quickly. However, I do believe Avatar will be the pick because Mighty Gus is already available here for Falstad. Jaina will now be picked up, and I believe this is the first time that we've seen Illinois actually pick up Jaina.
Yeah, it is, for sure. But of course, a great hero, obviously with her AoE damage on Blizzard, again, going to be a huge asset on these shrine points, but also just a huge damage dealer in general. And we see her prioritized anytime they're like, okay, we need damage now. Jaina tends to be in the top roster of choices for that, even over the Vala, which we've seen them choose multiple times. So interesting to see them going the Jaina route. Sometimes we see those heroes kind of compared side by side in terms of what they're capable of doing, but most teams tending to favor Jaina. So interesting to see Illinois changing it up a little bit, going the Frost Mage route, which will allow them more control, and obviously the burst damage that they need to round out their roster.
Looking at Illinois, I'm really wanting some form of engage for them, because Sonya can engage, but again, she's a hero that with Jaina being here and Thrall being here, that she can be picked off pretty quickly. And then the team also, if Sonya engages False, I can just do a much.
Whoa!
Nazibro, or Nazeebo. Sorry,
Yeah.
I call him Nazibro.
It's all right, man.
Bro.
Totally. I totally am with you. I would call him Nazibro too. He is
Nazibro.
definitely a bro.
Wow, he's getting picked up here. You know, he can be pretty strong around the minions because you're able to pick them apart when you are trying to grab those shrines and build up towards your own Punisher. Ravenous Spirit can be pretty strong as well, but he's a hero that we don't see often because it's hard to land that damage on opposing heroes until you get that level 16 Corpse Spider's talent that allows him to jump on top of heroes and really go for them. And he can put up some pretty crazy damage numbers, but you're able to heal around those. I'm really curious how Miami plays him.
Yeah, I mean, if they decide to go the Ravenous Spirit route with his heroic, of course, the ability to get stunned out of that heroic just totally negate all of its value. And of course, Falstad, such a mobile hero. You know, if Nazeebo tries to park out in a bush or something like that, Falstad can get around, stun that out, obviously. So it's something they're going to have to pay attention to. But they do pick up ETC to round out their roster. Of course, solid like hero with all of his stuns.
Yeah, he's pretty tanky as well. He can maneuver around if need be. I feel like Nazibro is probably going to get Gargantuan just because of Thrall, Jaina, and then of course Mighty Gus, and he's kind of forcing that scenario, just where he's been picked last. But here's ETC. Power Slide. Face Melt and Guitar Solo will be his basic kick. Power Slides we're going to see often. It's how he kind of slides his way into a team fight, stunning everyone there, and then of course Moshpot will probably be the pickup here. However, Illinois has a lot of tools to deal with Mosh Pit. I'm actually kind of leaning towards a stage dive follow through.
Yeah,
that could be a
would be so
really
cool.
strong build. You can jump behind the opposing team, and that actually gets a lot of people focused on ETC, which will allow, if they go for it, Nazeebo to pick up a Ravenous Spirit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Of course, we also saw the Uther pick up for Illinois there to round out their roster. Uther, solid direct healer, obviously with a bunch of stuns as well. That could come in to help. If they do decide to go the Ravenous Spirit route, maybe Uther can wade in there, get a stun off as well. So something to keep in mind.
I think for Miami, the play is going to really come down to Li Ming. How does Li Ming get in there, get the damage, and get those resets? If they don't obtain those, I fear for them, because the team comp on Illinois is very powerful. They have a lot of control, they have a lot of damage, they have ways to engage, they have ways to disengage. They're versatile, and it shows there.
Yeah, that for sure. And then also, how do you get the most out of Nazeebo? I think it'll be interesting to see exactly how they get the most value out of that hero, because you have to play a very particular way to do that, and obviously set up Nazeebo to get the most out of the heroics that he provides. So, yeah, we'll see.
It'll be fun. I'm ready to watch it. So let's go ahead and start moving towards the game if we have it available to us.
Actually, before we do that, I also want to say, if you're out there and you want to vote for these teams, we are doing these polls on Twitter. Hashtag Heroes of the Storm, and then it's hashtag vote, followed by the name of your team. So it's either hashtag vote Illinois or hashtag vote Miami. Please get out there. Let us know what you think. We want to see how you feel. Obviously, in this matchup between Illinois and Miami, this is the rubber match. Whoever loses this game is out of the tournament entirely. So let us know what you think, who you're rooting for. Let these players feel it. Let them know how you want this to turn out.
Who are you going for, man? Game 3. Who's going to the round of 32 tomorrow?
I don't know, man. Game 2 really messed with my heart a little bit.
Yeah,
I was like,
I got a beating,
allowing
right?
allowing myself to resolve to the fact that yes, Illinois is going to take this match, but they turned it around, and so that actually makes me want to believe even more in Miami in this fight. But I don't know, the draft, I'm feeling concerned for them, because getting the most out of their heroes in the draft that we saw is going to be a significant journey for them.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they can pull it out.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning towards Illinois on this one. I just feel like the team comp is so good at dealing with the tools that Miami has, but Miami, if they're willing to put their faith into one player, whoever is playing Li Ming, and how well that Li Ming plays is going to be insane. I am still kind of thinking about this Nazeebo and how it's going to work out. Right. Around the shrines, there are a lot of chokes actually that you have to enter into to actually get into the area to actually deal with the minions. So actually, Nazeebo's abilities can do a lot of damage if he times them out correctly. So Illinois will have to play around that. If they don't play around well, they could actually be poked down very, very quickly, which will set up the attack from Li Ming to kill somebody off. So I'm actually, the more I think about this, in theory, it can work. It's just a matter of can they make it work.
Yeah, interesting for sure. And I'm curious to see who they actually do put on that Li Ming. Is it going to be Villain? Villain is the player that we know has significant mechanical skill from this genre, but he also is the least experienced with Heroes of the Storm. So I don't know. Are they going to put all of their, all their chips in that basket and basically just go with it? I know they've been practicing a ton. I know they believe in these players, but it's a big choice.
Toys is their flex player, the one that plays Assassin most of the time. So I'm kind of leaning towards him, but it could be Villain as well. I'm thinking that Toys could get in there, and after being picked apart so much in game number 2, as these Kel'Thas just constantly being dived on, which is very, very annoying. Now as a hero that has mobility and has the ability to fight back right away, so that could be a nice change of pace for him. Yeah, we actually haven't seen this team at all play Li Ming in the tournament to date, so this is, even for Heroes of the Dorm, the first time they played Li Ming at all. Yeah. I was just looking through their hero rosters, and none of them have even played that hero in their previous games, so this is the first time they've actually brought it out. So interesting. They must clearly be practicing strategies with this hero. Same thing with Nazeebo. We've never seen them play that in their games previous. So yeah, we're going out the pocket for game 3, and this is the best time to do it, right? You're in game 3, you're either going to get knocked out, and you feel like the match is close. Usually, if you feel like you have a chance to win the match, and you're feeling very, very confident, you'll hold back some strategies here and there. But this is a scenario where I feel like you have to pull out your A game.
Yeah, absolutely.
B game's all on the line. Yeah, and the Bad Banner's looking at them, man. I'm just looking at this team comp, and it's scary. It's a team comp that if I'm playing in Hero League, I'm like, well, this is going to be a game. Yeah, this is going to happen. They have so much engage. They have Murden available already. They have Uther that can follow up as well. They have Divine Shield, which can pause fights if Li Ming does get in a scenario where she wants to go all in. So if you do a well-timed Divine Shield and land it on the target that Li Ming goes in for, you don't get that reset, and Li Ming suddenly could be in a situation where he can get picked off. Yeah, so looking at these guys, I'm really looking for Astrobroth and Unlimited to show up here. These are the guys that I feel like are the playmakers, but they could potentially be at fault for a loss here. We saw Guts just being Guts, man. He's going in, tanking, he's already ready. He's on a comfort pick. Legolas playing great as well. I want to see something crazy from Unlimited because I know that he can bring out the plays, and Kakisha has already been playing fantastic already. Yeah, for sure. And of course, let's take a look at the other side here one more time, looking at the players for University of Miami, the Tribal Toucans, with this interesting player and hero composition. Of course, King heading it out as their captain, King Knight. We've been seeing good play out of both of those guys. King obviously holding it down as the warrior in the front line. Lucky Pants, Toys dealing most of the damage. We saw him on the Kel'Thas earlier in the huge game on Tomb of the Spider Queen, where he turned it around, got those chain bombs in, and got the damage done. And then Villain, of course, rounding out their roster, another very talented mechanical player. We'll see who they put on Li Ming, who will clearly be their big executioner in this next game. Can they do it? We'll see. Definitely, if you're out there, we want to see your votes on Twitter. We want to see your opinion and who you're voting for.
Everything's on the line for these two teams. We're just waiting a couple more brief minutes while we get the game set up, and then we'll jump right in.
You know, this wait could be, you know, putting turmoil on the players.
Yeah, for sure.
You come off a really awesome win in game number 2 if you're Miami. You came together, everything you practiced finally worked. You win against an opponent that everyone's counting you out against. But now you're in a pause. Doubts start popping up. Did we pick these right heroes? You know, was that a fluke? Did we get lucky with our team comp? Did Toronto pick really kind of ruin them? Because now they're going for Uther, right?
Sure.
They could actually heal a little bit better here. They can actually deal with our pressure. I wonder how Miami's kind of taking this. And I also wonder how Kakisho and the Mad Banners, how Kakisho is like, hey, team, we got this. We're a great roster. We've worked together.
Yeah.
We've made it to Heroic 4 in 2015, and we're going to do that again here with this new roster. You know, the conversations that are going on right now can be very, very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to hear how they interpreted that last game, you know, how they processed their mistakes on the Illinois side, and how they plan to address those in this map on Infernal Shrines. You know, it's going to be an exciting match. I'm certainly pumped for it, and we're very, very close to getting started here. You know, my vote is going for... I think I'm in the Miami
going all the way.
You know, it's interesting. I voted for Illinois in my bracket because I just felt like, even though my heart was with Miami, I voted for Illinois because I think that they were going to pull it out. But right now, I'm really rooting for them. I really want Miami to pull it.
Jose, is Miami going to do it? They got it? Jose says he's got it. They're going all the way. I guess this is a signal. It's a signal. That's it. That's a signal from Miami.
That's the victory signal right there.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns from the very beginning. You know, I really think Illinois has this. You know, I'm been cheering for them. You know, in the bracket reveal show, I put them all the way up to the Heroic 4, and I think they have potential. I'm a little worried for that choice, though, all the way to Heroic 4, after seeing what happened in game number 2 and how they can fall apart. They do fall behind a little bit, but still, they're a team that has experience. They have a guy leading them, and they have great players. So,
of course, keep in mind, if you're out there and you're watching, there is a lot on the line for these two teams, over $500,000 in scholarships and prizes for both of them if they can get all the way. That's what's at stake in the grand finals of this event. Tuition for your college career, all of it going down at Seattle, Washington on April 9th and 10th at the CenturyLink Field Event Center. It's going to be a really great match, a really great event. And if you're out there and you're even in the area or even not, you want to go make an event out of Heroes of the Storm, you want to support your teams, make plans to be there. There's still some priority tickets available. I think it's only $15 for that. And then, of course,
get a T-shirt with that, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
get the T-shirt.
The rare Heroes of the Storm 2016 T-shirt. But then taking a look at our broadcast schedule here as well. We're going to be providing content for you all day today, all day tomorrow, March 20th, which will be our round of 32. So many games going down today just to get to the 32 teams that are going to be playing tomorrow. Then following with next weekend, Saturday, March 26th, the Super 16 at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then Sunday, March 27th, the Epic 8 at 2 p.m. Eastern. All of this content that you're seeing right here, streaming live on Watch ESPN, YouTube, or Twitch. So we have a variety of networks with which you can consume the content from, which is just so great. Very cool change from last year for us. And then, of course, like I mentioned, that live event, April 9th and 10th, where we're going to see the Heroic 4 and the grand finals. It's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, I personally really hope to see you guys at Seattle, right?
Yep, we'll be there.
It's going to be wonderful. We're going to be there. It's going to be a wonderful finale. Last year was so much fun, and I feel like that fun factor has been increased this year. Already,
Absolutely. We're
we're seeing so much more skilled play. You know, in the round of 64 last year, there was a few teams, the game was new. They were still learning. They were figuring things out. But this year, we've got experience. We've got players that know how to play the game. We've got teams that have come together. You know, they're trying to punch their way through the bracket, and there's so many storylines that we're going to keep continuing to follow for you guys.
Yeah, such greater game knowledge available to these teams. You know, last year when we were at Heroes of the Dome 2015, the game was still in beta. People were just trying to figure out the rules and the boundaries of this game, essentially. You know, we saw the victory from Cal Berkeley basically being done on the heels of a single hero, Illidan, right? People didn't know how to respond to that hero, and they got the most out of it. But you know what? We're here. This game is the rubber match between University of Illinois and Miami, and here we go. We're set. We're ready to go. We're diving in.
All right, Kevin, game 3. Winner goes on to round of 32. Loser goes home, and we'll have to watch the broadcast later. Illinois Mad Banners on the very far left here. Astrobroth, Kakisho, Unlimited, Guts, and Legless will round out this roster. Who is on the right?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. The right team. This is University of Miami trying to hold it all together. King on ETC. King Knight on Rhaegar. Lucky Pants on that Nazebo. Toys, like you said there, Tim, on Li Ming, and of course, Villain rounded it out on Sonya.
Kenny has a sick tiger on. Look at that tiger, man. Toys is riding in.
Astrobroth, giving us the pause.
style.
All right, pausing again, guys. Sorry about this. The starts and stops. It's just how it goes sometimes with these live events.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, you're playing from home. There could be a small internet connection. You want to make sure that you're good to go. But at some point, you kind of just have to, like, go in, man. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta be ready for these games, and you gotta do your thing. But we'll give them a little bit of time. We'll get them ready, and then of course we'll bring Game 3 right to you.
Of course, nerves. Nerves could be a part of it too. You just never know. Something's not right.
You know what helped with that, dude?
What?
Chugging a full bottle of water.
Yeah.
It just weighs you down. You're like, I'm grounded.
Yeah,
I'm good.
until you have to go to the bathroom, and then you have to pause for that. It's like, drink.
No
too much
pauses
water.
for that one.
Okay,
No
just
pauses
go
for
for
that
it.
one. I won't even allow it to happen. So now we know that Toys is actually on Li Ming.
Yes,
So
we do know.
We know he's a strong player.
Yes.
Very mechanical. Can really show up. So I'm actually happy to see that because I want to see his play because I feel like with KT, man, his job was to sit back and wait for everyone else to make plays.
Yes.
This is on his shoulders now.
Yeah,
He'll
he's
be
gotta
the
do
star
it.
player. So, looking out for that. I really want to see how he's going to play. And I also want to know how he's going to build here. I feel like the teleport build is not a good build here.
Yeah, I think teleport pill would be a bad choice as well. I think he should probably go for the damage, full-on damage.
Yeah, probably magical missiles. Go that round. Really try and land those skill shots and make sure you're being impactful and poking people down until you get to the scenario where you can actually go in for a play. And here is Toys here. Mentioning that Raynor, we actually see him play it in the earlier rounds, and there is the Kel'Thas and the Vala as well. Both heroes that are very good on him, but yeah, we have not seen his Li Ming yet. So this is a surprise. It is a pullout that we were not expecting, and I'm sure the opposing team wasn't expecting as well.
Yeah, we spoke to King, the captain of Tribal Toucans on the Miami side, and he said that Toys is a mechanical player, really great, but he also tends to tunnel. He gets tunnel vision a bit.
Yeah.
He can get carried away or too consumed and lose sort of perspective of the rest of the battlefield or what the rest of his team is doing. So that may be something we want to keep an eye on. Is he showing good situational awareness for his teammates? Is he showing situational awareness for the opposing team? And of course, King, the captain of this team, we talked about him. He's a freshman at the University of Miami, really strong leader. And one thing that's so cool about this team, Tim, is if they can't figure out how to muster it, they can't pull it off with Illinois in this next game, these guys are going to be around, man.
Yeah,
Here's the
King
door.
is a freshman.
Here's the door in
He's
2017.
a youngin', man.
These guys are going to come back as monsters if for some reason they can't pull it out here. And that King had that maturity. He talked to us about that. He said, the bottom line is I'm so happy for this team and the team that we've pulled out, that we're here in the round of 64, and then that knowing next year we can come back with all the experience that we've gained from the tournament to date. Of course, they want to go as far as they can, but I loved that sense of maturity from him. It was like he could see the long game.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the beginning of something for the University of Miami. Miami's never been involved in anything like this. It's so cool that our school is on the leaderboard, that we can see our name, we can rep our school that way. We're in the round of 64. We've made it there. But, he's got the long game in mind. So he knows that his team is gaining experience from this and that they're going to be able to build on that even next year if they get another opportunity.
Yeah, that's one thing that you see in a lot of competitions is people really just focusing on the next game, never looking too far and realizing where you stand in the bracket. Talking to them, they mentioned, hey, we're probably a top 30 team.
Yes,
we can actually probably get up that far. And if we get over Illinois, we can definitely win a round of 32. So they're already looking a little bit ahead, but they're making sure to be a little reserved. And you need to right now. This is game 3. This is where it's all at. They need to live in the moment and make it happen. And Kikisho doing the same thing, man. He's here in the moment. He knows that he can go to Heroic 4, and I'm sure he wants to do better than that. They made it very, very far last year. They played very, very well. Cal Berkeley was just a team that was on a different level at that time.
Yeah.
So Mad Banners, they could go all the way if they get past this matchup too.
Yeah, and of course, Kikisho is a leader not just of this team, but also for the TESPA chapter at the Illinois Mad Banners, or the Illinois University as well, University of Illinois in Urbana, excuse me. I need to say the names correctly. Cody Chen, Kikisho, this guy founded the TESPA chapter at the University of Illinois, Urbana, and that is actually where the majority of these players got together for the Mad Banners. It's such a strong school collegiate esports club, and of course, if you're out there and you're at a school, you should check out your TESPA chapter. It's a really great way to plug in with other folks who love competitive games, esport games. It covers a variety of games, genres, everything. So check it out, or if you just want to find out more about how you can start your own TESPA chapter, you should head over to TESPA.org and check that out. I think actually 34 of our 62 teams
more
here
than half.
in the round of 62, more than half of them were pulled together through their local TESPA chapters. So if you're out there, you're a college student, and you want to figure out how to get more involved, take a look at TESPA, look at your own school, see if there's an active chapter there, and go dive in, because you're gonna find some really cool, like-minded folks in those clubs, and it's a great way to connect with like-minded folks.
Do it.
We're
It's
back.
fun. Looks like we're actually going to be hopping into the game. So here we are. A little bit of action apparently occurred here. We're going to see King walk away with just a quarter of his health, as it looks like there was a bit of a scuffle that went off, and it looks like Mad Banners got the upper hand in it.
Yeah, absolutely. We tend to see that both teams just kind of going full-on face check right at the beginning of a match, usually trying to get a quick early kill if possible. And right now we're just seeing them settle into their lanes, start that experience gain. But that's so important in the early game. You want to make sure that you don't lose your footing. You keep up the pace with these early minion kills and stay on an equal foot with your opponent.
Gotta do that. Well, the top lane we have Unlimited versus Villain, Sonya versus Falstad. This is kind of an interesting lane where Falstad normally wins it because he's range. Oh, just a second here. Li Ming gets picked off. Toys, you gotta be careful, man. Picked off right away, and it looks like that was an engage from the Thrall.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, that's unfortunate positioning mistake there on behalf of Li Ming. Such a fragile hero. You know, we talked about Kael'thas's fragility. Li Ming is very similar. That's not a hero with a huge health pool. Obviously, we tend to talk about it as a glass cannon. And in fact, we'll have to see, does he talent this hero to have less health but more damage? Li Ming is one of those heroes where you can do that. You can make them more fragile, and the cost for more damage, we'll have to see. And maybe that's all about his confidence here.
Oh, aggression again, and they are just going in. They're diving turrets, by the way, getting these kills. It's a 4v2, so you can do it, but you got to do it effectively and fast. And they are just chaining their stuns one after another, destroying both Toys and now King Knight as that Rhaegar will fall. You
know, this is a pattern we see. We've seen it in the previous two games that just Miami in the early game, they just don't quite have their early game together. I feel like they get off on a bad foot, but you know, in the second game they were able to turn that around and get it back together. But we'll have to see. This early game for Miami has not been their strongest suit.
Yeah, a bit of a weird laning situation too. I think the Zebro should be down there because he's able to actually soak up that experience from a safe distance. But now we have the Shrine. This is the first one, and it will be a Frost Punisher that will be awarded to the team that gets a total of 40 minutes. You can see it in the bottom right corner as those tallies do tally up on who is getting closer to 40. Now we do see Lucky Pants, King, and Toys kind of posturing here. They have to wait for Sonya, as Sonya was actually in the top lane trying to get level 4 for her team. Now Miami trying to do whatever they can here to help out, and you see that Zebro just kind of throwing little beetles and stuff at their opponents. King now charges in. Sonya trying to help out. That beautiful Blizzard actually will hit both the tanks here. Jaina, though, is caught. King Knight dives in. Lucky Pants helping out with the auto attack. Now we have King in trouble. He's stunned. Kikisho's low. King walks away. 2 members low on HP, but no one has fallen yet.
Yeah, man, interesting to see Miami going all in on this. I think this is a smart move. Unlimited getting away with his life there. Nice movement. It looks like Miami's going to be able to take possession of this Shrine and maybe get caught up in kills, but Illinois is not done yet. They don't want to let this go. And, you know, it's an interesting choice right now. Do you go all in on this Shrine? The first Shrine is not always the most impactful. Maybe the better choice is to sit in lane and soak minions, minion experience, but right now we're seeing both teams really wanting to prioritize this Shrine.
All right, we're starting to see numbers tallying up here for Illinois. They have 36 of the minions. They need to get to 40. King is caught, though. He will be stunned by 3 members. The Blizzard is enough, and now the Punisher is grabbed here for Illinois. Well, let's see how they actually utilize this to their advantage. Guts is actually chasing down the player here, Sonya. Villain in trouble trying to whirlwind away. He's low on HP. Lucky Pants showing up, but the Blizzard is just enough, and it is now 4 kills to 0.
You know, I thought we were going to see a choice by Miami there initially to just stay in lane and give up that initial Punisher. I almost feel like making those decisive you know, commitments early on and just sticking with them is so important because every second counts. And when they got a late initiation on that Shrine, they got down there a little bit slower. They kind of felt like they were half foot in, half foot out. And though they did get priority of that Shrine initially, they lost that team fight, and then basically, you know, they're already almost a full level behind here.
Yeah, it's always an interesting decision. I think the play they went for is to get to level 4 and got the lanes pushing at least, which is a pseudo win, and they just wanted to see if they could potentially get in there and cause an engagement. And, you know, to be fair, they almost did.
Right.
They almost took out the Jaina player, which would have been very, very helpful for them, and that would have given them a 5v4, which could have helped them grab enough minions, but Illinois was just reserved enough. They got around 30 minions and finished up the last 10 just by poking and grabbing whatever they could.
So Miami responding by picking up this Shaman camp right now, which is a pretty good call on their part as we head towards the next Shrine spawn, which will be happening here shortly. Of course, Illinois doing the exact same thing. These guys actually picking up the Khazra camp. These guys are really strong at actually pushing fortifications down. Villain trying to address it as much as he can, but has to pull back as he sees Illinois, a whole crew of them. They're ready to pounce if possible.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths here of Miami that I've noticed is that when they notice that 3 to 4 people are on one part of the map, they usually go to the other side of the map and grab their own mercenary camp. So effectively, it's an even trade. But Illinois, with those early kills, you see them having a good almost 1 level ahead of their opponent.
Yep, absolutely. And here we see King Lucky Pants Toys trying to address this mercenary camp in the mid lane.
Oh, bottom
we
lane.
see the blue lane.
I think Rhaegar's trouble with bottom lane.
Rhaegar's in trouble. He's got to get back, but Got's trying to go for the aggressive dive. King Knight does get out, thankfully, to that Ghost Wolf form. And they are going to basically push back Illinois and try to get control of this lane. Man, Illinois has pushed in pretty significantly in that bottom lane.
Yeah, they've had
already.
no fear in pushing in there. I think they've noticed that when a member is in trouble for Miami, they don't rotate to help. They don't look out for the overextension. So Illinois is taking full advantage of that and is really trying to secure kills where they can in the most aggressive way possible.
Yep, absolutely. Falstad trying to address those mercs there in the top lane before the shrine has spawned, and it looks like the shrine is active. Blue team going for an aggressive merc camp push, which is always great during a shrine. Basically causes issues for your opposing team on do you address the merc camp pushing in your lane, or do you commit to the shrine right now? And it looks like Miami trying to do the exact same thing with the bottom merc camp as well.
Yeah, I think Miami gets the advantage here in terms of pressure because it is on the bottom lane and the shrine is spawning at the very, very top. So that means that someone has to walk all the way down here to deal with this. And they're just going to go ahead and just go for it here. They have to. They're almost a full level behind. If Illinois gets one takedown or a turret, they get level 10, which gives them the heroic abilities. So this is the smart play. Sometimes you got to make plays that are inefficient to get back into the game.
Well, it makes sense too, because like you said, it was all the way across the map to even get to that shrine. They figure out, look, it's not going to be worth it. By the time we get there, we're going to be so significantly behind. Let's commit to this, get the fort, get the experience from the fort. Also, Illinois at level 10 already, so they couldn't fight whether they want to or not. So you're right. They're committing to the experience gain, getting the fort kill, and basically going to have to brace for this. But you know what? Illinois doing the right thing, man. They're not even going all the way in on the shrine. They're getting a fort themselves before they do that, so they're actually getting their cake and they're eating it too, man. Nice move on their part.
Illinois responds well here, and they're going to go ahead and get some experience here. Miami just trying to force level 10 as soon as possible, and we do have Illinois at level 30 in terms of minions, and you'll see this typically happen. They'll slow down the grabbing of the minions because they know they already have the win, because they're trying to bait their opponents into coming into a fight. Miami, though, not biting, realize they've already lost the fort. They can deal with this Punisher fine by the keep. So they're going to sit back a little bit here, play a little bit reserved, and wait for an opportunity. Yeah, bracing themselves for the Punisher attack, who will dive heroes, and then they will address him as quickly as possible. Falstad cleaning up the lane down here in the bottom, getting this Khazar camp cleaned up, and will probably continue to push that bottom lane while his other team, just goes all in on these fortifications for Miami. Man, Miami's got to be feeling the pressure right now. Yeah, they are feeling the pressure on the top lane here from this Punisher, just charging down that top lane. In the middle lane, they can't do anything until they get rid of this Punisher. Once that goes down, they can evaluate and decide where to go. The problem is, the middle lane has already potentially lost a fort. It's about half health. If they can get down here quick enough, they could potentially protect it, and it looks like they will. But that half damage could come into a pivotal role later on. Yeah, and right now, the big part of this trade, Sonya going in. Oh, wow, they do have that Sundering saved him.
Huge.
Wow.
At least gave them a disengage on that Sundering, which is nice, allowing them to get their footing back. But the bad part about this scenario is just Miami's having to play the response game. They're just basically having to follow the dictated path that the Mad Banners are providing right now.
The response here is actually an aggressive one. 3 heroics were used for Illinois, which means that Miami can walk in here and do whatever they would please because they have Power Slide build on ETC. They also have Mosh Pit available and Ancestral. With Ring of Frost being down, Thrall, Sundering, and Divine Shield from Uther all being taken down in that last team fight that did nothing for Illinois, Miami took an advantage and pushed it. I like that play.
Yeah, will they capitalize? Will they force a team fight though? Now that they have the heroic advantage?
They totally could. They're going to have some pressure on the mid lane here from these Impalers, but they want to clear this wave if possible as first. Remember, those minions will attack heroes as well if there is a huge stack of them, so they're going to clear that up. But Illinois, I feel like they wouldn't give them the chance to engage, because although 3 heroics were burned, if we do see the Toucans go a little bit too aggressive at any point, Falstad had that Mighty Gust available.
And and they're hanging on right now with this XP gain. They are a level behind, but that's not as far as they've been behind before in these previous games, so this is not a bad scenario for them to be in.
Yeah, this is such an interesting game in my opinion, because I feel like Illinois is doing the aggressive rotations and hoping that Miami will make a mistake at some point. And Miami is doing well in terms of just kind of like mirroring their opponents on the other side of the map.
All right. So here is where we're seeing these Punishers get a little bit more strong in power. So how are these teams going to address it? Are they going to go all in on this? Red team grouping up there in the mid lane. Blue team already there, starting to gather around the shrine. Muradin there sitting in the front, basically able to zone as well.
This is probably objectively the scariest Punisher for a team to get. It's called the Arcane one. It has little waves or arcane that kind of spin in a circle and do a massive amount of damage. So Miami doesn't want to give this up for free. The problem is there's a huge advantage from Illinois because of the rotation. They're at level 13 right now. They're dealing with the pressure on the top lane. If Miami wants to engage, they need to do it now, and they need to get rid of someone quick before Falstad can fly down.
Absolutely, and of course, wow, blue team already at 30 of these kills on these minions. They are backing away, playing it a little bit safe. They have some time because the red team has to collect a lot of kills to get back into this, so they can play a little bit safe, look for someone to be out of position. Right now, Guts waiting in as Murden, going for damage, but King there, zoning and holding it down in the front line as he should. Sundering is out from Thrall. There goes the Ring of Frost. That's 2 heroics down. Villain getting caught by the Blizzard and taken out by Illinois. That is unfortunate. That is not what they want to have happen there. So giving basically Illinois all of the opportunity to continue to push forward.
Yeah, that's one of the scary situations for Sonya is if she goes in and there's no one to follow up, she can be picked apart very, very fast. We saw 5 members just jump on Sonya and she was depleted right away, and now this Punisher just pushing across here twice, trying to help out with the poke. And this is kind of where we're seeing the problem with Lei Ming on this map, is she doesn't do a good job of helping clear minions, and she has a hard time actually kind of clearing waves unless she goes the teleport build. And she did not actually pick up Calamity at level 7, so now we just see Disintegrate as her main way of really dealing with waves, or Discord Orb if she gets into a scenario where she can hit it on all of those, which is actually pretty hard to do when a team is pushing down your throat.
Yeah, so another keep wall in the favor of Illinois. More experience and, you know, more confidence going into getting damage done on that keep in the bottom lane. And, you know, 2-level lead right now as they head towards the next power tier boost at level 16. Miami in a similar situation to what we saw in Game 2 and in Game 1, just falling behind in the XP game and having to figure out how to address that.
Miami has gone for this, oh, is this a mosh pit? No, not quite yet. With Unlimited not getting caught there, you have to pull back because Mighty Gust will be an immediate cancel, as well as Murden or even Thralling, the Sundering. You have to hit a good 3 to 4 people for that mosh pit to even get that much value. That's why we haven't seen it yet.
Right, they got to bait it out. They got to bait out all those other heroics you talked about in order to get full value, basically.
Or capture all 5 people at once. Right?
Exactly.
It's such a hard thing. The only one that doesn't have a way to deal with that is Jaina here. She has Ring of Frost, but she can put out a lot of damage quickly and kind of help out her team. But at that point, Miami would probably win the fight already.
Okay, well, Miami is bracing for an attack here. Looks like Illinois looking for this aggressive Khazra camp that's going to just, again, help them with the pushing game as we move towards mid to late game right now. Level 15, level 13, 16 about to turn over for Illinois, which is going to give them even more confidence. And, you know, they're going to basically get this fort right now. They have to. Tribal Toucans have to basically back out.
As long as they keep their keeps, Miami is fine. They still have them. You see them on the very far right here. All 3 of them are still standing, ready to go when need be. So they're still in this game. It is looking like they're getting bullied around a lot, but they're not really straight just losing the game yet in terms of actual fights. They're losing it in a more of a choking maneuver. We've seen them slowly bleed out here. King moving in, trying to get some damage on top of Guts there. He will be able to retreat. And I think the intention there for Miami was try to get some damage on our opponents before we all transition to the top here and fight at the Shrine.
Man, but Miami is such a long grind before they can get to level 16, and that is just got to feel very, very frustrating. They have to really start to look for heroes that are out of position, figure out how they can take what they're already at in a disadvantage and capitalize on it somehow, but they basically are waiting for Illinois to make a mistake. Right now, Illinois, this is their game to lose, essentially.
They are not making mistakes. Even with them being super aggressive in the bottom lane was all calculated and really worked out for them and got them a level lead that they've really kept the momentum up with because they have that Falstad pick, which is so helpful for keeping that lead as he's able to soak while the team just goes and gets all the minions. And now, in the very top part of the map here, we do have a Shrine being started by the Mad Banners once again, and they are there every time. Their rotations have been on point.
All right, so here is Miami trying to figure out what to do, and so much damage coming out there. Baited. Oh, wow, Kikisho falling close, but they does get the Divine Shield and stays in the game. ETC's low, falling down. He has to back out the back. Villain waiting in deep with Sonya. That is their choice when ETC's health is so far down. They need to get someone on the front line there.
A lot of missed heroics here for Illinois. Villain's getting low on HP, but the King Knight's doing pretty well.
Nice
here
damage.
goes the Mosh Pit, but you see the cleanse right away on Thrall to keep him alive. He's a huge target. It's very, very important for Illinois. It's a nice job there by Astro Broth. But Miami does bully their way in, and they're able to start pelting down these minions and grab whatever they can. However, all 5 members are still up here for Illinois. A strong Blizzard on a Zebra or an Azibo or a Villain could be huge.
Oh, that's done.
2 targets big. King
With
will power slide away.
right in the middle of that Blizzard, just so much damage. That was actually really painful for them. But you know what? This is not a horrible scenario for Miami. it could be way worse. They baited out those heroics. They are picking up these minions at the shrine, and it's working out okay. Let's just see how they survive.
All right, Disintegrate helping out, putting on some damage on an Unlimited. Lucky Pants is unlucky right now as he does get picked off. There is 25 minions in the favor of Miami, but taking into account how far behind they were, they did pretty well. Finally, there was a breaking point. We saw Lucky being taken out by Illinois, and Illinois will now take this victory here and grab another Punisher once again. Yeah, that was an unfortunate positioning situation for Lucky Pants as Mad Banners waited their way in. Illinois just cut him off from his team and was able to get the kill. And, you know, at a disadvantage, a power disadvantage at that, Miami was already playing under power there, and when they lose a hero, there's literally nothing they can do, really. They just have to back out. Totally true. Well, Miami now grabbing some mercenary camps in the bottom, trying to grab as much experience as they can. I do believe they're leaving Sonya there as well to grab the few minions, and now they are getting close to 16. They would love to hit that before they go into an engagement. The Keep, though, is taking damage here. This Keep going down. Oh, no, Toys is actually getting caught here. The Ring of Frost barely misses, but we do see King evaporated from the battleground here, and now the Keep is just taking damage. Gargantua trying to go in there and do something as it flails away and is being taken apart. Sunring does only hit one member, but it is enough. This could be game, man. This is like looking so bad right now. I mean, this could literally be the game right here, especially if they keep throwing heroes at this and they can't get their full team back together. But I don't know. This is looking really bad. Well, we do have King up in 14 seconds, and he does have Mosh Pit available. Dylan trying to go in there and buy some time. There is an Ancestral Healing available. Will it hit? It barely misses, but we do see Uther take it out. Members are getting low, and Li Ming is starting to break in. Toys, however, will get picked off. Here comes King in 2 seconds. Can he get a power slide on Fawcett? That's the big target here. Can he land the Mosh Pit? He does hit one member. Thrall, however, does not get hit, and we now see Joel getting picked apart, and he will secure the victory. Illinois will go to the round of 32 with a 2-1 victory. Huge congratulations to Illinois right there. They just wanted to finish that game. Yeah. They were going to do it, and, you know, unfortunately, Miami just kept feeding them heroes. They were getting caught out. I hate to call this out, but King at the end. Yeah. He got caught. Barely missed hit. He got caught, and then when he did come in to save the game, his Mosh Pit missed Thrall. Yeah. And Thrall had just enough damage to the health bar to finish the game. That's got to feel a little unfortunate. But real quick before we give Illinois too much praise, you know, Miami played well. Dude, huge props showed up. To them. I'm proud of them, you know? Huge props. I mean, they played significantly well. I mean, like I said, just seeing them take that game in Game 2, turning that around, that was awesome. But here we're seeing some recaps from this particular game. Illinois just showing their dominance, positional dominance, as well as their playing the actual objectives better, gaining XP quicker, just basically dominating from start to finish. You know, Miami, like we talked about, had a rough start in these early games for these matches, and, you know, Illinois just kept building and building, and unlike Game 2, Miami just couldn't figure out how to turn it around. Well, for next year, Miami, hopefully you come back, but Illinois will be moving on to the round of 32, and if they can keep up what they did in game number 3 throughout a majority of their matches, they can go very, very far in this tournament. Yeah, very strong play by them indeed. They're really showing incredible map awareness, ability to prioritize the objective and work together as a team, aligning their heroics and working together. They did have some sloppy play, some of those heroics missing. We saw that. Some of them getting baited out, Miami not getting full value out of everything that they were doing, so they can clean up their game significantly, and in fact they probably will need to in order to ensure that they can play at the same level as some of these other teams that we see across this bracket. So, all right, well, we do have a Skype interview coming up here with the captain from Illinois, Kakisho. So we will have him on here briefly, and, you know, kudos to Kakisho for pulling this team together. Again, he as the returning player, has sort of been leading the charge, taking his team members through the experience of Heroes of the Dorm this year, coming off of last year's play for them. Of course, Urbana made it very far in the tournament last year. I can't remember exactly how far they got. Heroic 4 all the way, yeah. So they got a taste of that true final land glory, and I think how cool for Kakisho to get the win here in the round of 64, carrying them into 32. We'll have to talk to him about that whenever we do get that interview. But first, let's look at our upcoming matches of what we'll be dealing with today. Our next match that Kevin and I will be here with you on will be Georgia Tech versus Rutgers. Grease Trucks versus 8th Street West. Florida State and Indiana will be Gillyweed and Jake coming to help you out with those matches, as well as Ohio State and UCLA. Washington versus Temple will round out the day. It'll be the battle of the dogs here. Hot dogs, 4 guys, and a dog. Actually, there is one more match after Washington and Temple, but we'll talk about that one later as we get closer to it. You can only fit so many things on a graphic, Tim. Only so much, man. So looking for those matches. You know, next game is going to be a good one. It's going to be a great match. I do feel like it is one of the lopsided matches that we'll cast today. I feel like Rutgers, when we're going to actually start talking about them and go into more detail, I feel like they're a little bit more prepared. I know they are the lower seed.
Yeah,
here.
technically they are significantly lower.
Technically the lower seed, but they're looking very, very powerful. Their confidence does come off. And when we talked to Georgia Tech, they were like, hey, we're here. We're getting a skin.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
That's
I can't
exactly
wait.
right. They were basically like, yeah, you know, we signed up because we wanted the Crypt King Tassadar skin. And we were like, oh, okay.
Kind of good. We kind of hit the 64. Let's keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a fun game to watch because we got a really, really hungry, underseeded team versus a team that's sort of surprised at how far they've been able to advance in this tournament so far. But, you know, you never can tell. I don't want to vote anybody out. As we saw, Miami played significantly well. They were very underseeded. Could have even taken this whole match off of Illinois, but they, you know, unfortunately weren't able to do that. But they did get a game off of them, so kudos to them. And, you know, again, like you said, we'll be looking forward to them next year playing in Heroes of the Storm, building off of their experience, building off a whole nother year of experience with Heroes of the Storm as a game. And so, unfortunately, folks, those of you watching, we will not be able to get this interview pulled together with Kikisho. We will talk to him, though. We'll let you know what he has to say about those games and fill you in at some point. But thanks for staying here with us. We're going to be right back with our next match, the Grease Trucks versus 8th Street West. It's going to be a fun one. Stick with us. Be right back. See you soon.